Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Oh, what a weekend it was, no question about that. And we got so much we got to get into. But, you know, nobody really wants to talk about this per se, but second day in a row we've hit 70. And what do I walk into the studio? And, of course, here at the Flynn Broadcasting Empire, you know, we have all the latest technology. We've got televisions in our studio. And here I am watching the Cubs and the Angels. 1-0 Cubs. It's early.
I remember when he turned on the Cubs, Drew.
I do too.
Didn't turn on
like in the middle of a pennant race last September.
I analyzed what was going on, and I was I correct?
Look what it caused. Look in the other dugout now. Look at that Angel dugout.
That hurts. That really still bums me out. The fact that Joe Madden.
You got Rossi on your side, though.
Well, he was a good catcher. He was a good leader as a player. We'll see what he is as a manager.
What about 300 at-bats as a Cub?
It wasn't that many. Did he win a World Series with the Cubs?
He did.
Yes, he did.
Joe Madden was the skipper. We'll see.
We shall see. I just feel good. When I see Mark Grace at first base smiling, I feel good. I even felt good watching Chris Bryant at third base just moments ago.
Look at Albert Pujols in shape. That's him batting.
You think he looks in shape?
Yeah,
he looks a little portly to me.
Oh, no. He's ripped.
How old is he now?
Approaching 40.
Oh, yeah.
Born in 80. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but and he said that, born in 80. I got a feeling he's a little older than that.
Baseball ref says 1980.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that if it makes you feel better. You know, look at that little pouch there. Are you kidding me? He's not in great shape.
That's his jersey.
He looks Ruthian.
Oh, no way.
Yes. We'll have to talk.
Got to be close to the
Tim
last
Dillon
year for
about
him,
that.
isn't it?
I think he's still got a couple more years left on that. When did he leave the Cardinals? It was a 10-year deal, wasn't it?
He left the Cardinals after the 2011 season, so he's been there.
So he's got this year and next.
Yeah.
Two more.
How much left in the tank? We'll see.
Well, he's got a little different batting stance now,
A little more open.
Not only a little more open, but he bends over a little
more of a
bit
crouch.
more. Yeah.
Trying to load up. Everybody's swinging for the fences, Dave.
That's what they do. That's the way the game is now. What a weekend for basketball.
It was.
I mean,
every team I pull for won on Saturday.
That's my top story.
I was at two of the three of them.
My top story of the day is what a great weekend it was for Memphis.
It was great.
Even 901 FC beating the Tigers, but when the Tiger collegiate program is within, 10 minutes of tying the USL championship team here that has been reworked and is really going to be good. I mean, I think that bodes well for them. So,
Downtown was
crazy.
Electric Saturday, wasn't it?
Oh, it was popping.
How about LeBron playing?
A lot of rumor pregame that he wasn't going to play.
I know. How is it that you can't beat Sacramento, team that's trying to chase you down, and you can go and beat the best team in the West, and I mean beat them.
Well, De'Aaron Fox is one of those bugaboo matchups for Ja, and this year the Kings have been that.
They have, and so are the Pelicans. The two teams, there's really 4 teams now chasing. Can you believe we all thought Portland, as we were approaching the All-Star break and looking at everything, we all thought, okay, this is prior to the Lillard injury, but we all thought, okay, Portland's probably going to be the team that's going to sneak by. You got to worry a little bit about New Orleans because Zion's coming back, and they seem to be a bad matchup for the Grizz. So now the Sacramento and New Orleans seems to be a tough matchup. But to just go and rip the Lakers apart, and I listening to all the national pundits now, they seem to think that game alone, despite the fact the next day that Zion was incredible against
LeBron. That was good stuff last night.
But in the end, that might have gotten Ja the Rookie of the Year.
Patrick Ewing won the Rookie of the Year award in 85-86 and only played in 50 games. That's the fewest games played to win the Rookie of the Year award.
And if Zion played in every game, it would be 37. That's why they say
Ja's played in 54.
Yeah. No, and if Ja does what he did against the Lakers a couple more times, I don't see how he gets beaten. The only thing that could happen is if the way he was playing prior to that game, right? When the guy sends the tweet out that he doesn't look like he has the fire in his eyes anymore, and that is, magically the post.
Who knew the motivation?
The recipe for getting him going again, and it worked. Whatever it was, whatever he uses or he needs to get himself going, more power to him.
Well,
really, more power to him.
And no shocker, someone at 20 is out there scanning through Twitter.
Right, exactly. Look. There have been plenty of guys.
Can't imagine Willis Reed.
There have been plenty of guys who used to make up stuff to get themselves going, to motivate.
Or a coach would make it up. You know what so-and-so wrote about you over in Cleveland?
Right. Sure. And so Ja is self-motivating.
Dave, we both saw a lot of times the coaches use the media for motivation. They would want to fight. And then they could go good cop, bad cop back to their men.
Yeah. But it is.
I mean, Tony La Russa did it one time
incredible.
in St. Louis, and Bernie Miklasz rightly was sitting on the front row where the St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist should be, and said, Tony, you're arguing with yourself.
Right. Right.
I mean, if you just want to use us, okay, I'll play along. And La Russa was ready to fight, and there was no story.
Trying to get his team fired up. That's all he was trying to do.
And sometimes different motivation. And it's everybody's motivation in life. What moves them? What makes it go?
I think Tiger's motivation on the basketball floor
staying alive
should be getting referees that can tell what a goaltend is.
Oh, Dave, this one I thought was not as close as the last one that got overturned. And then the best part of it, the very best part of it, after the lengthy delay, you didn't catch this. You may have. Yeah, you may have. And then he sells the call and gives it, hey, I count it.
Yeah.
Come on
but,
now.
Okay, so I can't remember which referee did that with the sell, but the chief of that crew, and maybe it was Jamie Luckey that did it, but Jamie Luckey comes over. Now, I got to tell you on the front end, I'm not 100% certain. As Brett can attest, as Drew can attest, my hearing, unless amplified by headsets, is not exactly the greatest anymore.
We could show
60.
We could show the listener because sometimes I can hear through yours with just the mic.
60-something years now of listening to rock and roll and
Steamboat
and Steamboat, whatever.
Always comes back to Steamboat.
Whatever you want to call it, youth. But I swear Jamie Luckey came over to talk to Avery Johnson. By the way, Avery Johnson's the nicest guy in the world. He just, right in the very beginning, he comes over and puts his arm around me and introduces himself to me. And I say, Avery, I really respect what you did as a coach and what you're doing now. And
and college.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. But Jamie Luckey comes over and again, I am not 100% certain of what he said. What I thought I heard him say was, It was really close. We weren't 100% certain. The arrow is going Tulane's way, so we just thought it would be a tie game, and we'll give the ball to Memphis.
Why take that powder?
I have no idea. And I'm not 100% certain that is what he said, but if that's the case.
I thought it was terrific athletic block.
Well, I mean, look.
I mean, I guess it's illegal to block a shot now.
The replay doesn't lie. I swear to you, I don't understand how
close on
how
replay.
are they
It took forever.
How about on the call on the flagrant foul in Dallas on Precious for the groin area, right? When I think it's Shagwa. I thought it was JC, but I think it was Shagwa now in the end. Complains that he got hit in the groin by Precious. They go to the video. Now, I've had referees tell me that the more likely call would have been a hook and a hold on Shagwa. Okay? They don't call that. And the ref told Penny he's lucky it wasn't an F2, a flagrant 2, which would have been the shots, the ball, and goodbye Precious. Mm-hmm. Crazy. And if you look at it, you can't see anything. You cannot see anything. It's amazing to me how
the only TV I watched all day Saturday, literally didn't turn on any television at all at my house on Saturday.
No golf?
No, nothing. I mean, nothing Saturday. Went to Oxford, came back to Memphis Grizzlies, but it went over to the bar area behind where we sit to watch the last 4 minutes of the Tiger game that took 45 minutes.
Long time. You're not even counting the overtime. You're just talking regulation.
Well, and then into overtime because Tigers had to win that game. They did. Ooh.
Well, you can't keep turning the ball over 24 times.
Well, you can, but every game is going to be that close at the end.
So here's how numbers.
It's always going to be close.
Here's how numbers are crazy. Okay? The U of M now has had 6 games this year. 6. With which they have turned the ball over 20 or more times. You know what their record is in those 6 games?
5-1.
4-2.
I'm shocked it's only been 6 games.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But you think, do this math too.
It's why, Dave, I greatly reject the notion of get a technical just to get one. Coach Hardaway can't afford to give away 2 to 4 to 5 points.
Well,
just for funsies.
That's a valid point.
Because it's going to
be
already
giving away. Look,
it's going to be narrow the rest of the way.
If you have 24 turnovers, that's minimum of 24 shots. Let's just add at least 4, right? Because you're going to get 4 more. You're going to get at least 4 offensive rebounds out of 24 shots.
I think Precious Chu is good for that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 28 shots. Now, if you make half of them,
easy peasy.
You're talking about you've just missed 14 points. 14 points. If that occurs, Tulane is never in the game.
That's right. I thought the Tigers would win Saturday, and I thought they would cover the Vegas point spread of 5. History will forever show them as doing that. But, boy, it was
It should have
blood.
been, honestly, it should have been a 2-point game. Honestly. It should have been Memphis ball, 2.3, and it's still a 2-point Memphis win off the strength of Tyler Harris's called 3-point shot.
And drawn up play.
Drawn up
play.
I asked him
Well done.
on the postgame show, and I asked Penny. And they all knew that Precious would be the target.
Double down.
And so basically they set up Precious to set a screen and go to the hole, knowing that both guys would go with Precious.
They did.
They did. And he was wide open for a 3. And I said, did you know it was in when you let it go? He goes, as soon as I released it, my smile was there. He knew it was going to be good.
Got a great look.
And Penny talked about how the way they set the whole play up, it was well done. How about the play that didn't work? So
at the end,
there's 2.3 left because they give them a bucket on what should have been a clear block. Would have been the 6th block for Precious Achua, by the way. So they do a great. They get a runner, which was Alo, on the move, makes the catch, gets to the front court, boop, timeout, 2.3 to 1.1. And then they run that play
Perfectly.
where he goes to the corner and then, with the help of the screen, beelines for a lob. And what a lob by Damian Baugh. And that should have gone in. And it would have been a 2-point win, and they wouldn't have covered.
For those that cared.
Yeah, for those that cared. I didn't care. All I wanted was
win.
a W, and they ended up getting it anyway.
It is most definitely the time of the year. Just land in that left-hand column, and you can sort it out however you'd like after the fact. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Spring Sales Event. Happy March, everyone. Great offers on all 2020 models and always special lease options. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in a Lexus as well. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. Lexus of Memphis, the high standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the ultimate driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, as I mentioned, it's the weekend that was for this whole city of Memphis. The Grizzlies upset the Lakers. Like you wanted to win one of those two in this homestand. Who would have thunk it would be the Lakers?
I threw it open Friday.
And not Sacramento.
What would Hoop City go over the weekend? And 2-1 was the consensus. Had a couple of nabobs 0-3, some 1-2, some optimistic 3-0s. But the 2-1 was not the math everybody was doing on Friday afternoon.
Well, no, that was something else. And now coupled with the Pelicans' loss yesterday, the Grizzlies have a three-game lead again in the Western Conference for that 8th spot. The Tigers were winners, however scary it was in New Orleans. And then last night, Brett, the best attended banquet maybe in school history. So Harold Bird has been putting these things together since, I think, before the John Calipari era. And he said to me after the banquet last night that it was the best attended ever in his whole run. Over 400 people.
That's great.
And it really did remind me how much Memphis Tiger basketball means to this city. The movers and the shakers, we had Mayor Strickland was there, but the mayor of Arlington was there. There were state legislators that were there. It means a lot, no doubt about that. Memphis baseball swept the series with Western Illinois. Brett, they got 55 runs.
Better save some of those.
55 runs, and a guy is going to get a medal from me who was unbelievable. We'll tell you about that in a little bit. And then, as I mentioned earlier, 901 FC, their final exhibition game, because they open up next Saturday. Their exhibition game with the U of M was close, 1-0.
Who do we open against? The Indy 11?
Yeah, that's exactly
Indy
right.
11.
Wow. Whoa. You
Well,
could knock me over
Well,
with
we
a
just
feather
looked at the schedule
that you
20
knew
minutes
that.
We just looked at it a little while ago. It wasn't 20 minutes ago. It was an hour.
30.
It was after I got here.
I believe you can retain information from 30 minutes ago, Brett.
Thank you, Dave.
But this was close to a collegiate team. However, 2 new players for the keys to the win. It's going to be a different looking 901 FC, and most of these insiders really believe they're going to make the playoffs. Hopefully, that'll be the case.
That'll be fun. My top story Saturday night was one of those I will never forget. If you were there, I think you'll be talking about it for a long time. I don't know if it'll go down in Memphis lore like the Johnny Newman versus Larry Finch game at the Coliseum that was 10,000 there, and later about 90,000 said they were there. Or like Bears last game when it was 50, and now I know at least 200,000 were there. But Saturday was one of those big ones. Ja Morant was spectacular, 27 and 14, 6 rebounds, and he commanded the big stage with the biggest star in all of the NBA and maybe in all of sport. Up there with Tiger Woods for sure, LeBron James. Win of the year for the Grizzlies, and the most electric that building's been for me that I've been there for since Tigers in Tennessee last year was very electric, but probably the most electric Kentucky and North Carolina NCAA tournament game. Saturday night was cracking.
Wow.
Fun.
Wow. I can only guess that it was. Can I add one little more quick one? Because it always I think of the market when I see Brett, and I hadn't checked today. The market is up.
Why did I remind you of the market?
The market is up.
You're more in the market than I am because you're closer to D-Day.
I'm not close.
You're closer.
Stock market is up. Wow.
We're giving market updates now?
Almost 1,300.
Well,
Dow's up 1,300.
what did I tell you Thursday?
Told me not to worry.
Great time to buy.
Told me not to retire, but not worry.
Not top story of the day.
Dustin Johnson. This guy just burns me up.
Now, you're not going to
He's
rip
a
him, are you?
waste of talent.
Why are
is
you
what he
ripping?
is.
Because of the Olympics?
Yes.
Doesn't he have a right to not go? Don't the basketball players have a right to not go?
Yeah, and I have a right to not like it.
But
look,
I would
only
like to think
four
I'd
guys.
go.
You would think. I mean, first of all, you win a gold medal. Ask Justin Rose what it did for his endorsement power. Secondly, I don't think Dustin Johnson's got the greatest rep, the greatest image. He could turn that around if he was a good soldier and carried on. He's skipping the Olympics.
Now, I didn't remember
this
him
time
skipping
at least.
last time.
Hell yeah, last time he missed it and he said it was the Zika.
And remember, people, the Zika virus. That was
4 years ago.
That was what was going to kill us all then.
Well, that was also going to stop the Olympics.
Right. Something's always going to stop the Olympics, and we always have it.
Well, that was the first time I remember anything like that to stop the Olympics. We've had Olympics we didn't think were going to be finished on time, yeah. But nothing like the Zika. And that was the excuse they used, and McElroy used
How
that.
many people do we know got Zika?
But
you got anybody?
I don't know anybody who got Zika.
I don't know. I didn't hear of a person get it.
I hope I don't know anybody that gets coronavirus.
Me too. I hope I know somebody doesn't get the common cold, because I know that can make you feel
But
like
I do know
hell for
the
3 days.
World Health Department, the World Health Organization, they're still saying we're not out of the woods yet. So anyway, my deal is at least he was honest this time. He says he wants to prep for the FedEx Cup playoffs. You know what? I'm going to root against him from here on out.
You've got that right. My not top story, but it was a big story. The Tyler Harris corner three. He was roundly criticized after the SMU game. He should be roundly praised for hitting a shot that saved some semblance of this season. A miss, I guess the Tigers probably would have been in scramble fouling mode. I don't know how it would have played out, but it probably would have been a loss, and we know what the criticism would have been, but it's not. He made it. He made the big shot. And we've talked many times on Wednesday with Jason Munns about how many shots do you need Tyler Harris making in a game to really be effective. And for the rest of this year, I still think it's around just make 3 or 4 threes a game, and that's it. It was a good
Can I add one thing to that?
Yeah.
Not just make – I'll take 3 threes.
I'll take 3
But
threes.
here's what I want now. If you've got a lead at the end of the game, I want him in. Because, he hit 4 free throws in overtime.
He sure did.
He doesn't miss free throws. He's the best free throw shooter on the team.
20th win of the year for the Tigers, and now a 2-0 week is very important. Thursday night against Wichita State, Sunday morning at Houston.
We always point these things out, right? Because they're stats. They're facts. How many seasons has Penny been a coach?
He's 2 for 2.
He's won 20 games now, both seasons.
He's got 42 wins
He's
total.
been the skipper. And hopefully there's 2 more this week. The game on Thursday night is going to be really, really good. We got precious metals coming your way. Wichita State's going to be.
Did you see
in
how they
that.
lost yesterday?
How?
Wichita State blew a 24-point lead.
Oh, no, that was SMU that blew that 24-point lead to Wichita
To Wichita State, yeah.
Yeah, Wichita State won. SMU's in my medals.
SMU
we'll let
gave
you know.
that game
They
away.
did. They did. We'll take the time out. We'll be back in a minute. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, and I want to let you know family and fun's coming together at I-40 and Wooden Road, and so is this factory direct pool, spa, and patio furniture sale. It's been going on. I guess they're carrying it over one more month. A lot of times they'll do that because, look, It's happening. Pools starting at $19.99. Chemicals, toys, accessories. We're talking 20% off in this spring deal. Spas starting at $21.99. The swim spas less than $10,000. That is a beautiful thing to see. Patio furniture, state of the art, 5-piece sets starting at under $800. The maintenance-free poly furniture, really cool. Really cool material. Up to 20% off. Mention this ad, free delivery, and a month of chemicals if you buy a spa. All you got to do is say Wolo and Stats, say Drew Barrett, say Sports 56. You're in at Family Leisure. We're back in a minute. We're just underway on this Monday edition of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Hi, I'm Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Five-Ash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's a march to remember at James Gaddis Jewelers. They will buy your gold and silver. You can bring in your outdated jewelry for a whole new look. They have showcase gifts under $250 and Ronaldo bracelets from $50 to $350. They also have a beautiful estate collection picked by James. Pearls, rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and of course diamonds. Plus watches of all types, including new and pre-owned Rolexes. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue, online at gaddisjewelers.com. You can call them at 901-767-9648.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
A little bit later, we'll talk about the American Athletic Conference tournament setup. Hey.
No slotting
just
yet.
my gut feel.
Nobody's really secured a slot yet.
No. My gut feel is this week. Memphis will beat Wichita at home, and Houston's going to be waiting, laying in wait, as they say. And I think that'll be a hard one. So I've got this feeling Memphis ends up 5 or 6. I think 5 is the position you want to be in. 2 o'clock games, and I think you have Cincinnati as your opponent. And I think Cincinnati's a pretender. I really do. Unless Cumberland's 100%.
5-12 game on Thursday would be at 2 o'clock. We know that'd really be about 2:20. Tip off, and then the 4-5 game about 2:20 on Friday afternoon, and then about 2 o'clock on Saturday, 2:15 on Sundays, the finals. 6 seed, 9 o'clock on Thursday.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Which is really 9:25.
Yeah.
8:30 on Friday, which would really be about 8:50. 4 Saturday, 2:15 Sunday.
I hope we're talking Sunday. I really, truly do. But we'll see. Let's start with Thursday, and that'll be a really good basketball game. But before we go any further, it is time for Precious Metals. A little bit earlier, I mentioned the Tigers banquet and how cool that was. So we had heard, and I don't know, I wasn't on Friday with you, but we had heard that they had a sellout for the first time in New Orleans. Now, that's only 4,100 at Fogelman and Devlin, which is now, I guess, the way you talk about that arena. More people from Memphis were in Fogelman Devlin than Tulane fans. I could not believe the crowd. Now, I should have known because I saw so many in the quarter on my way to go to get beignets at Café du Monde.
Everybody right side up?
On Saturday morning, yeah.
Good.
Some a little bleary-eyed, but
it's New Orleans.
It's New Orleans. What a great city.
It really is. They still Pepto-Bismol tablets down there, don't they?
I'm sure they do. But you got to give a bronze medal to that crowd. I'm telling you, 2,500, 3,000 people from Memphis went to see New Orleans and to watch Memphis win that game, although most of them had no fingernails left.
Saw a thriller.
When the game was over. I got to give a bronze medal to Sun Jae-im. The South Korean gets his first win ever, PGA or anywhere else.
He's a marathon guy. He plays every weekend.
Well,
there's a tournament, he's there.
Do you remember how good he was in the President's Cup? That's where I thought, where's this guy been? He's going to win. He's only 22 years old. There's in the last 12 or 13 months, there have been 5 guys, 22 or younger, who have won on the tour.
And the wave of South Korean male players, it will never dominate the tour like the female South Korean players dominate the LPGA tour.
Right.
But here they come.
Yeah, no. And this guy is I think the leader of them. Congratulations to him. I got to give a silver medal to Precious Achiuwa. On a roll again today, but really 22 points, 22 rebounds, 5 blocks, should have been 6 blocks. But the 22 and 22 is the first ever 20 and 20 double-double in the
double
history.
Dexter Reed, 22 and 22.
There you go. And it's
the double Bobby Parks.
It's a record. Never did you have a 20 and 20 double-double in the history of the American. Now, the American's only 6 years old, but still, something else.
Saturday night was a theme for that. I'll get to mine.
My second silver medal goes to Hunter Goodman.
Way to go. Texter was doubting that you would give him a medal.
He was wrong. Texter. I didn't even know that he had. I haven't looked at that.
Texter also took a shot at you. With the way you ran Dustin Johnson down, I think it should preclude Dave from ever being able to pick him this year with golf picks. Drew, your vote? How's your vote on that?
Sorry, I was reading. What's the question?
Well, the way he ran down Dustin Johnson, I vote Dave never get to take Dustin Johnson this year. You agree? We can get John to come along.
He will take it.
No, but we won't let him.
Oh, we can't let him?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm down for that.
Well, you're going to have a hard time. A very
Dave, majority rules.
Hard time.
3-1.
No. There's no. What does that say? What's the first name in that show?
So you're going to
pull the marquee on.
I'm invoking the marquee rule. Where was I? Oh, Hunter Goodman.
Yes.
22 RBI.
Dang.
You know how many he drove in yesterday? No, they scored 23 runs yesterday. Hunter Goodman had 11 RBIs in a 23-8 win.
I don't know if I had 22 RBIs in my career. From minor league through Pony League, through American Legion.
You never played minor league.
I did play, but yeah, I did. 7, 8, 9-year-old baseball. Minor league.
No, that's Little League.
No, 10, 11, 12 is Little League.
Oh, Pee Wee League.
13, 14, 15 Pony. 1 year of American Legion. I never batted. So I know I didn't have an RBI.
I played American Legion.
Didn't get a bat.
That was fun. I loved American Legion. It was before they had all these really great competitors.
Boy, realized quickly those dimensions changing were really a big deal.
Yeah. It was. But you know what? It was still 90 feet from – I used to play third. It was just 90 feet away.
That ballpark was big. Those pitchers were bigger.
Oh, yeah. No, they threw a lot harder, for sure. But he gets the silver. And then the gold medal has to go to the Grizz and Ja and Jonas. Ja's 27 points and tying his career high in assists, 14 against the Lakers in a game, really, that righted the ship. They'd lost 5 in a row. You thought for sure this is going to be 6 in a row. Uh-oh.
I left Friday
Here
night.
comes all the other teams, and, they kept a 3-game cushion here.
I left Friday night and thought, well, it was fun while it lasted, the little playoff dalliance. Let's all sober up. And then Saturday happens.
Yeah, and Jonas, how about 45 rebounds in 2 games?
It might be.
That is something else.
Especially without Jaron and Brandon Clark. It might be more of an old-school Mike Conley, Mark Gasol, Grizzlies, high pick-and-roll offense necessary instead of bombers. Might have to play old-school basketball. Throw it into the blocks.
Until
you get some reinforcement.
Yeah. And maybe that's what you got to do against, like, Houston if you were fortunate enough to meet
maybe
them
tonight
again.
against Atlanta, slow it down intentionally.
That's going to be a heck of a thing. I know we'll talk about that later and what we're going to watch tonight. But Trae Young,
it's
and
big
Ja,
tonight.
Those two guys, you talk about that self-motivation. They're probably putting chips on their shoulder right now saying, oh, that guy said something about me. I'm going to get him.
Bring your own motivation.
Yeah, I love it. Grizz and Ja and Jonas, they get the gold medal for me.
For me, my first bronze goes to defending national champion Virginia. Right now, they may be the hottest ACC team going. The ACC's not very good. The idea this time next week that the bracket will come out and in the 15th spot could be North Carolina, Georgia Tech. They are eligible and will be in the bracket even with the postseason sanctions. So they still could win the automatic, just can't go to the tournament.
Wow.
You weren't here the day Mike DeCourse and I were. He didn't know and I didn't know if they would be they'd be eligible.
You know what? That's amazing to me because the last time that occurred, Memphis won the tournament and the Metro Conference got 0 representation. It was like, how dare you play them? And they beat Louisville, I think, in the final game.
Yes.
They didn't let Louisville go. And, that's not going to happen to
I don't think so
the
either,
ACC.
But they're playing a little better, and I think Josh is maybe saving.
Well, he's 500 in the league, and he's 1 game over 500 total. He's 9-9. And I give him a lot of credit.
A lot of guys back next year.
I hope they give him another year. I
do too.
really, truly do. There's no question about that.
Silver medal goes to Kentucky, another SEC title for Kentucky, and I want to see a bracket. But right now, I think Kentucky's the best team in college basketball.
You think they're the best team in college basketball?
I want to see the bracket.
Most people would tell you Kansas is the best team in college basketball, but I'm with you. I
think it's John's best coaching job at Kentucky.
Well, he's developed guys. I mean, you can't tell me that Richards didn't develop. You can't tell me that even Quickly, who wasn't playing very well early, and now may be the team's MVP. Because Maxey started off being
now,
the guy
they're champions of a very, very, very average SEC.
I agree.
Very average.
I think there's only 2 good teams in the SEC.
I'm with you.
I think Auburn.
And I don't know if Auburn's as good as they were last year.
Oh, no, I don't think they are. No, I don't think they
point
are.
Guard. Silver medal goes to UCLA. How do you bust into the bracket? You win games. People had counted them out in December. And it was a good Hofstra team that they lost to. Hofstra's probably going to be the automatic bid team or winning their league. And they lost to Cal State Bakersfield. But they've done a good job with Mick Cronin in his first year, and they have some hope there. Gold medal goes to the 2 big guys, Jonas V and Precious A. 22-20 for Jonas, 22-20, and 22-22 for Precious A. on Saturday night. That was big men extraordinaire on Saturday night for Hoop City teams. Gold medal goes to Ja Morant, big star on the biggest stage. Saturday was one of those remember when games. Also, gold medal to LeBron James, not for Saturday night, but for Sunday night with Zion. It was compelling regular season basketball last night. As fun a Sunday night game as you can get in all the games the NBA runs at you. And a goal. Drew, you hinted at it Saturday, when I got here about Saturday. A little bit of the, not venom and not anger at the Laker fans that show, but it was a little bit of more respect and less picking at them on the heels of Kobe's death. It was a lot of Kobe jerseys out. I mean, 8s and 24s everywhere. Tons of LeBron number 23. A few of the active players. Now I saw Nick Caruso. Got to give that guy credit. A couple Magic Johnsons. I saw one Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I was just going to ask you.
But the winner.
Is there a Jerry West?
None.
Was there
no Elgin Baylor?
No Gail Goodrich?
None. The non sequitur award winner. Number 11 for the 1 year. Carl Malone wore 11 with the Lakers.
Oh my God!
I saw that guy and I thought, you got to be from Louisiana.
Along your LeBron stuff, I'm gonna chip in a little gold for, I thought, sincere compliments about Ja.
Gracious as you can be, and he's that legendary ambassador of the game now, and he knows it.
He does, and I think he wants to open the door for those people, maybe more than it was opened by his predecessors, who looked upon him more as a competitor than as the up-and-coming ambassador.
He also has a very big business interest in the next generation.
Oh, yeah.
With owning his sports agency.
True.
Because they might represent all these stars.
Well, there was a rumor that I heard that while they were in L.A., Ja, his dad, Anthony Davis, and LeBron all went to dinner with the LeBron Anthony Davis agent, which is his agency. So your point is absolutely well taken. We've got some rust we'll give away. We better take a quick time out first before we do any more of that.
I like the Laker fans. I like them showing up loud. This is going to be the end of it after LeBron. There will be no out-of-town player that will create that going forward. Zion won't for this reason, because he'll be such a competitor and rival of Ja's. You're not going to see them take over the building like that, because we'll have more and more Ja's jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis, maybe?
No.
Think he reaches that level?
Milwaukee, no.
KD?
No. Downside.
I think people,
This is the last one that we got to endure all their jerseys.
I'm not sure. There's always somebody who comes along. Kevin Durant might be the guy. He could be.
But we're going to get a deeper root in those years too. Ja will become that transcendent star.
No, that could be true.
I mean, why go wear a Anthony Davis jersey in 5 years when you can go and wear Ja? That 10-year-old right now in Memphis that's getting he or she sports brain formed, it's going to be formed around Ja.
This portion of the show brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Group. There is a combination. It's Matt Eflin. He's joined forces now with the Linder family. Britt Linder, his family goes way, way back. We're talking 1955. Locally owned and operated with about 300 years now of combined insurance experience. You can't beat that, and you can't buy that peace of mind that they can give you. It is really special. And when you think about this combination now, you're talking about an access to a multitude of A-rated carriers, and you're talking about home insurance, auto insurance, umbrella, and small to mid-sized commercial accounts. They do personal, and they do business, and they treat you like family. They sit you down, and they evaluate. It's an evaluation one-on-one, and they're going to ask you if it's personal, your family, health, home, get you everything that you possibly need. They give you a priority of importance. And then if it's business, they'll forecast it out for you. 10 years, 15, 20. What's the most important thing you've got to protect? And they take care of that for you. If you'd like that peace of mind and that kind of service, call my guys, Matt Eflin, 757-2315, 757-2315. If you're a Tiger fan, you might like this number, 901-386-GER. That's 901-386-4777. Those are the numbers to the Eflin Insurance Group. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz. Weekdays from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
If you love college basketball, and you're in Memphis, so you must love college basketball, this is the time of year. And the place to enjoy college basketball is next door. Memphis' great neighborhood bar in the heart of Cooper Young. With this many college basketball games, you don't want to go to some chain where you get generic food and mediocre service. You want to go to Next Door, where the food is extraordinary, the cocktails are mixed by experts, and the people are there to have fun and enjoy the games together. Come enjoy the madness and make some new friends at Next Door in the heart of Cooper Young.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
I'm Dr. George Flynn. As a physician and president of Flynn Broadcasting Company, I want to assure you that this Flynn Broadcasting station will keep you totally updated on breaking news or changes in the coronavirus situation. There's some easy steps you can take right now to begin to prepare you in a relaxed manner. Stock up on any household items you might need for fever reduction, such as aspirin, acetaminophen, or ibuprofen. Stock up on food and disposable items just like you might take on a 10-day vacation. This way, even in the unlikely possibility you're quarantined, it'll only be a minor inconvenience. There's absolutely no reason to panic and certainly no reason to try any unproven treatments or medicines. We'll keep you updated with true, proven medical facts so that you can live with minimal disruption in your life, whether it's at work, at school, or at home. I'm Dr. George Flynn, thanking you for being a stable, positive influence in our community, and stay informed through Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
Somebody must have kicked you around some.
Give me our Russ here in a minute. I did want to get to one of the texts. Why was Tulane's coach barefoot? Well, it's a good, fair question on the first page.
June Jones on us, didn't he?
Well, first off, the weird thing is there was a big kind of a chair that I would like, pilot seat, whatever they call those things. That was up.
The big Phil Jackson Barker lounger?
Yeah, exactly. That was there because he has had some issues that he had from a hip replacement, and it has destroyed, I guess, his hamstring. At least I think that was the word that Penny said. It was.
And he's had trouble staying upright. Remember him falling off the stool at the NCAA tournament?
That's what did the Achilles up and everything. He hit his Achilles with that one. Anyway. So he was wearing crutches, but he goes barefoot because he was one of the first coaches to do a thing, and the Lipscomb Pitts Breakfast Club was involved in this. It's called Samaritan's Feet, and they are trying to promote health around the world, and they provide free shoes to underprivileged third world countries. And so he's one of the guys, and he goes barefoot on purpose. That's why. So now you know.
He's got a clue, too. He's got that program playing hard.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to recruit.
Oh, he had 11 newcomers. He ran off almost everybody to bring in the right culture, and I think he's on the way. His problem is the three main guys in that game the other day were all grad transfers. So he's going to have to go the same route next year.
Do it again.
Yeah, that's what he'll have to do. I'm going to give a Russ medal to Tommy Fleetwood, who I really like. Tommy is another guy. So we had him, who was a great President's Cup player. Tommy Fleetwood has been a great Ryder Cup player for Europe. Tommy is a guy who has won 5 times.
You're close to being banned from getting Tommy Fleetwood.
He's won 5 times on the European Tour. But when it gets close on the PGA Tour, he does something crazy. And he had 2 choke shots.
Yeah, and how Stevie Nicks treated him in the 70s was horrible.
That was Stevie. That was
Mick
Fleetwood.
Oh,
that was actually Lindsey Buckingham who had the affair with Stevie Nicks.
Drew one day asked if he or she on Lindsey Buckingham, and I had to explain to him.
Oh, no.
The name like Lindsey.
We had
it could
we
be
had a
either way.
generational divide.
Lindsey Buckingham and
The only
Stevie
person-
Nicks were boyfriend and girlfriend, and they came into Fleetwood Mac together. They were a grouping. And then part of the whole Rumors thing was all their
breakout
affairs. Their
breakout album of the 70s, Rumors.
That was incredible. It was a great album.
Great album. I had the 8-track, Drew.
I bet you did. But you can't blame me for not knowing every member of Fleetwood Mac. As long as I know Stevie Nicks, then I'm good.
There have been several different.
Have you ever heard of Led Zeppelin?
Yes, I know Led Zeppelin. I can name all 4, too.
There have been 4 or 5 different iterations of Fleetwood Mac. The one constant is Fleetwood and Mac.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Anyway,
Stevie
so Tommy is a golfer. Mick Fleetwood is a drummer, and they are nothing. Although they both have long hair, that's about it.
They do.
So he choked away that thing, and I give him a rust. And I got to give SMU a rust. How can you have a 24-point lead? You're at home where you never lose. I'll bet you President Bush and Laura were there smiling. Even they couldn't save their Mustangs. They didn't get enough calls this time or something. And Wichita State just hit a whole bunch of shots, but they blew a 24-point lead in the last 13 minutes, man. That's hard to do.
Boy, I want Penny to put one on Greg Marshall. I don't think he is quite the genius he was, and that program is quite as good as it was in the Valley. It's an improved league has made it tougher on them.
Well, certainly it has. I think he thought he would walk in here and he might have
Park the Waters.
He might have, there'd be 2 or 3 teams that he'd have tough times with, but, they've been middle of the pack. And hopefully they're middle of the pack this time because they come in here, and as you just said, Penny and the guys put one on them. They owe them one.
My rust goes to the AAC. It was flirting this weekend. It saved itself, but it was flirting this weekend with more upsets this week and in Fort Worth. Now, that's a lot of ifs there. Potentially being a one-bid league. It's not going to be. Most have it as 2, some 3, but it's a really split decision out there. The Tigers can steal that automatic bid. It is wide open.
Oh, yeah, it is. Houston moved up today in the new poll. They're 21.
21.
There's nobody at all in the top 25. In one poll, 2 votes for Wichita State, and in one poll, 1 vote for Wichita State. Nothing for Cincinnati anymore.
But in a week from now what that AP poll means.
Nothing.
That's it.
Absolutely nothing. Your rusts?
I gave it to the AAC.
Oh, that's
just
right.
one.
Just the one?
Last night, Doris Burke made a comment, and she threw it out rhetorically. I think it was question mark at the end of it, and I love her. She was so good, and Dave Pash so good to put up with what he puts up with Bill Walton.
Oh, you know what? That is good shtick. Though.
It is.
He loves it.
But then
he did a Tiger football game, and I was asking him about that.
And then to play it so straight with Doris, and he's the constant is Dave Pash.
He is really good.
But Doris Burke made a comment last night that she said LeBron James could be considered the best passer of all time, and he's 8th all time in assists. And he is.
He's certainly not the best passer I ever saw.
I think Magic's the best passer I ever saw.
I think Magic is 1 and Bird is 2. But Bird is the best college passer I've ever seen because I saw him up close and personal. His peripheral
and John
vision,
Stockton's number 1 in assists, but it was two-hand chest pass to mailman, and he sent it in.
Part of the reason Stockton is number 1 is because of who he
kept
played
passing
with.
it to mailman.
We make a lot of because we love Sean Toohey, but we make a lot of
he could throw it to Stroud.
He had Stroud, he had Carlos Clark, he had good
Elston
players
Turner.
that finished for him.
Now, and when we go to Sean holding that SEC record, and it will never be broken for a lot of reasons. First of all, guys, probably if he's really, really, really good, he's not staying around 4 years, and nobody wants to pass the ball.
No, because now you know what it's all about, right? Now it is all about beating your matchup. One-on-one, creating, and doing something spectacular. That's the way it works.
830-some-odd assists will never be broken. But for LeBron James to be 8th all-time in assists, it really struck me when Doris Burke said that last night.
This portion of our show brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. We've gotten through with February, but here's one thing I want to push for you guys. I am a Comfort Club member. I believe in it. I get my system tuned up twice every year. They come out, put the little slippers on because they're all about service, and then they will replace everything in my inside units. But the most important thing is they tune up everything so it works efficiently. Then they go outside, get all the grit and grime and leaves off your outside units, and everything lasts longer, and your MLGW bill comes down, and your house will be cool when the heat starts heating up. All you got to do to make the call to become a Comfort Club member is call 384-3511. Conway Services. Best service going, all the new technology, and they will take care of you. Just call it 384-3511. Back in a minute, hour number 2, right around the corner, our friend David Cobb from CBSSports.com. He's next on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats.
The construction reduction event is on at Wolf Chase Honda. Exciting changes are in the works and inventory must be reduced. Get the best deals right now on all remaining 2019 Hondas while they last. Every new car, every certified, every used car, price to go. Get pre-approved now at wolfchasehonda.com. Wolf Chase Honda is expanding and our prices are dropping. Don't miss these savings. Act now. This huge construction reduction event ends soon.
For the best lineup of quality, fuel-efficient, and fun-to-drive vehicles, get to Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan. Over 1,000 new certified and pre-owned vehicles in one great location. Catch the savings now during our huge model year-end sales event. Score an amazing deal at Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan and get to the game in style at Germantown Road and Highway 64. Family-owned since 1981.
Into the unknown.
Are you headed into the unknown with the digital marketing for your business?
Into the unknown.
Maybe you could create the best digital content for your ad campaigns, but it's unknown whether you will find the time. Or maybe measuring the results and analytics is unknown for you. Digital Mid-South can help you with the unknowns of digital marketing. Website development, graphic design, social media marketing, search engine optimization, online video marketing, e-commerce, and more. Check out digitalmidsouth.com to learn how you can help with your online digital advertising campaigns, or call Brian White at 901-375-9324. That's Brian White, 901-375-9324. digitalmidsouth.com. Digital content creation, delivery, and management.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm a big fan of Town Village, and there is always something to do year-round. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Oh, yeah. It's Monday. Got a little bit of sunshine today. It was gorgeous for most of yesterday in the 70s. A little bit of rain tonight. Finally, it's going to clear out Wednesday. And you know what? Spring is right around the corner. I got a little spring in my step. Grizzlies a big winner last night, or 2 nights ago. The Tigers able to hold on and win in overtime.
It's madness time.
Nice banquet last night. Baseball team went crazy, scored 55 runs. Hunter Goodman, 3 grand slams, 22 RBIs, 11 RBI yesterday. That's got to be a school record.
Softball went 4-0 this week.
Way to go. Softball went 4-0, and Drew Barrett became a play-by-play softball announcer. How about that? Big weekend. And the new poll is out, and guess who wrote about that new poll? That would be our friend on CBS Sports, David Cobb, who joins us now. Kansas, a unanimous number 1, so most people thinking they're ready to go and they're going to win the national title. My friend Stats thinks it's Kentucky. I lean more toward Kansas, and Kentucky went from 9-6, and Cal won another SEC championship. What out of this new poll, David Cobb, surprised you the most? Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon. I think Kansas unanimous number 1 in the coaches and the AP poll, after they almost got upset by Kansas State, a really bad Kansas State team at that. So that sort of, I think, shows you the status of college basketball right now, that a Kansas team that almost loses to a Kansas State team that's like 10 games below 500 to be the unanimous number 1 in both polls. I think that just tells you what sort of a march that we're in for.
We're in for a while.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be great.
David, I think we could pick them out of the hat for the 1 through 4 seeds. I'm serious, maybe even deeper. And I just said to Dave, the beauty of that poll in a week, it means nothing, because we're getting ready to have brackets and elimination games and heartbreak and upsets and buzzer beaters. And if you don't win, you go home.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow. Some of the conference tournaments are getting underway starting tomorrow.
Right.
So I'm keeping track. That's when the madness really begins. I mean, it's truly. I mean, by this weekend there will be some tickets punched, and then you can't take those away from the team. Once you get that automatic qualifier, you're in, and there will be a few of those in the works by this weekend.
As part of your new deal, are you going to any of these conference championships?
No, but I've sort of gotten on mid-major duty for this week in terms of keeping track of the storyline from afar and kind of tracking some of those teams that do get their tickets punched early. So it's going to be fun. I don't even know what TV channel some of them are on, but we'll find them.
David, I love it. Starts in the Atlantic Sun tomorrow, and then on Wednesday we start afternoon games out in Vegas, and then Thursday it's the full tranche all the way through. About any waking moment from 11 o'clock in the morning on will be college basketball on TV.
Exactly. Hey guys, and this just came out too. You know who we won't be seeing in the conference tournament? Josh Pastner and Georgia Tech have dropped.
Oh, they did.
Their appeal. They dropped just a little while ago. Dropped their appeal of a one-year postseason ban. So they've won 7 out of their last 10. They're actually at 500.
Well, that'll really redo the bracket in the ACC then.
Yes, it's weird. They've already got it updated on the ACC website to a 14-team bracket as opposed to their sort of wonkier 15-team deal. So that's interesting. I mean, I guess the way that Georgia Tech sees that is they'd rather punt on trying to make the NCAA tournament this year, since they would probably have to win that ACC tournament, and just go ahead and eat the ban now, and then they can be free of it, in the future.
Well, yeah. So the reason they were going to play in the ACC tournament was because they were still appealing, thinking they would get a chance to play in postseason. The last time a team that was on postseason banned played in their conference tournament was the University of Memphis against Louisville in the Metro Conference Championship in Larry Finch's early tenure. And Memphis won, and the Metro didn't get any representation in the NCAA tournament. So that's really gambling there. And apparently the ACC must have said, we don't think you're going to win this deal, and we don't think it's in the best interest of the conference for you to play. I'm guessing when I say that, but that makes sense to me. The other thing I wonder about is if they're willing to eat this year the postseason ban, just say, look, we've sinned, we're going to pay for our sins. Do they execute the sinner? Is Josh Pastner, do you think, going to get another year? They have finished strong. They put themselves at 500 in the league. They're over 500, period. Do you think Josh will be their coach next year?
If you had asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said no. But they've won 7 out of 10. They beat Louisville. I mean, that's a huge win. And, if they win one of their last 2 games, they're going to have their best conference record under Pastner in his 4th year now, so I understand why the leash would be a little short, but they're on track to have their best season in the ACC under him. Granted, it's a weaker league than it has been, but with that cloud hanging over your head of knowing that you're likely not going to be able to compete in the postseason, that's impressive. And of their top, 10 players, only one of them is a senior. So. I don't know. That is very interesting. Very interesting, because I'd be lying if I said that a part of me, when I saw that Georgia Tech was dropping this ban or the appeal of the ban, weren't maybe trying to set themselves up to be more appealing to another candidate. Because if they drop the ban and they've got a clean slate moving forward, that's going to make it a lot more attractive to a new coach than if they go all in on trying to make a run this season and then still have that cloud hanging over their head during a coaching search. So I think they're better positioned to move on from Pastner now that they're dropping the ban. I'll say that. But he's made it really interesting over the last 3 weeks by beating Louisville and getting Georgia Tech back to 500 in the ACC.
So hold it, David. How many teams are in the ACC?
Well, there's 15 for basketball because they've got
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
All right. So now it's a 14-team bracket, right?
Right.
And North Carolina still will be in last.
Yeah, I mean, goodness, talk about just a bizarre situation. North Carolina, the 14th seed, in the ACC tournament with a potential, a definite lottery pick in Cole Anthony.
For sure.
That one is wild. That could get really interesting. I don't want to come out here and predict that North Carolina is gonna make a run, but if they win a couple of games, that could get really interesting.
We've had 4-day run teams, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday teams. We've had Wednesday through Saturday teams in tournaments. St. Louis U did it here one time in the Great Midwest Tournament. Anybody ever at a Tuesday?
I doubt it. I don't know, but I doubt it. That's insane. 5 days in a row. We know how taxing a back-to-back is in the NBA. Can you imagine 5 days in a row? That's unfathomable. I doubt it. I really do.
I think it's just sort of the state this year of college basketball. There's not any great teams, and this is the worst year I've ever seen the ACC. You just mentioned North Carolina has won 5 conference games and is in 15th place. Wow. Then Duke just fell out of the top 10 for the first time this year in this new poll.
They're very gettable tonight, and NC State can get them tonight.
Oh, yeah, I think that's true. Look, you got Louisville, Florida State, Duke, and Virginia. Those are basically the only 4 teams out of 15 that are over 500 in the league.
Mm-hmm. And
you mentioned NC State. NC State's 9-9, just like Georgia Tech, Clemson, Notre Dame. They're all just 500.
Yeah, and there's going to be – it's interesting because the ACC is not the only league. The AAC right now might only have 2 teams as things stand now. Cincinnati's on the bubble as a third. Memphis still has aspirations, but right now, you look at it in Wichita State and Houston are the only teams for sure and out of the AAC. And then the SEC only has 4 teams right now that really look like they're definitely in. There's a couple more that are on the bubble. And the ACC being as down as it is, the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are in position to steal a lot of these bids that the other leagues are going to leave on the table. The Pac-12 put out as many as 7 this season after having only 3 the past 2 years. And the Big Ten's going to set another record. I don't know what the total number is going to be, but some of these other leagues are swooping in to steal some of these bids that some of these conferences are leaving on the table.
David, I do think it's boiling down though. Is it coalescing for you that that big January, February number of teams that could win it all, and I still have a big number that could go to the Final Four, but my boil down has started. I'm down to about 7 or 8 or 9 that I think can really be have a net around their necks in one shiny moment play.
Yeah, I'm still in double digits.
I am too.
I'm still in double digits right now. I look at the top 10. I don't know that there's anybody that I really think is a lock for the Final Four, like that I would go and put money on today. I just really don't. I don't trust Gonzaga, Dayton, and San Diego State just because I don't think they've been tested enough. I'm sorry, I just don't. And then, like we were talking about at the top, Kansas, as a unanimous number 1, is out here almost losing to Kansas State. And I know it's a rivalry game. I know that those sort of environments, sometimes breed chaos and whatnot, but they just did not impress me. They don't have a ton of depth. Baylor loses to TCU, out of the blue, very random loss. And then stats, you might be right about Kentucky. But even them, you look, and I know John Calipari doesn't want to talk about it anymore, and he's really kind of angry when it comes up. But they lost to Evansville, and I'm pretty sure Evansville didn't win a single game in conference.
They did not. No, they are zipped for the Missouri Valley. They
had a lot of
here's the
controversy
deal,
too
though.
around the program.
This is the truth with Cal. I never think of a Cal team in November. He in December he does that Camp Cal, and they always get better. And they just won another SEC. They're playing at the right time.
He builds this time of year.
But I think you have to admit, whether you think Kentucky is the favorite, that Kansas could win it.
Yes.
All right. And Gonzaga could win it.
Yes.
And Dayton, I think, could win it.
All right, but in after the personnel, then I get to coaches. Something always gets Mark Few. Something always gets Leonard Hamilton. Something always snags Mark Turgeon. Always gets them.
There's always a first. And they get their team's position. Leonard Hamilton, I think, has done a lot with less. So I'm not sure he's had that key player to get him over the hump. But, you look at this Dayton team or a team like Seton Hall, some people think they've got the best personnel that there is, and they played together a while. I don't know much about San Diego State. I've watched Baylor. They could win it all. Kentucky, I believe, could win it all. I'm a believer in Florida State. Maryland's got more talent than anybody in the Big Ten. Louisville could clearly win it all. Duke, I don't believe they
David,
will.
Do you
but
prefer personnel or coaches?
Well, Duke's struggling. They've got the coach, and they got a couple of the personnel. But I waffle between thinking Duke's really deep and then thinking they've only got 2 players because their supporting cast is so inconsistent. I mean, Vernon Carey and Trey Jones will alternate between completely carrying the team, and then on another night they'll get a little bit more help. And so I just don't think that their supporting cast is consistent enough for them to make a run. But, I mean, here we are again. I mean, that's why this March is going to be fantastic, is because you got a team like that with a couple of lottery type players, and they're not even a lock. Same with Kansas. So I'm still probably in the 20 range in terms of potential national champion.
I'm going to go 14 deep.
Okay.
I've gotten to Duke. I'll go with Villanova, and there's your coach.
I agree.
I go with Oregon. There's your coach and good players, and many of them are experienced senior players. I'm going to go with Creighton, who Mike DeCourcy said was the most improved team he has seen, and I'll probably drop there. I watched BYU beat Gonzaga, but I don't think BYU's got enough to go all the way. I don't know about Auburn. That would be next. Do you think Auburn could?
I mean, they went to the Final Four last year. They took Kentucky down to the wire in Lexington the other day. When Isaac Okoro is healthy, and knock on wood, it looks like he is now, back to that hamstring pull, they are a legit contender to get back to the Final Four. I guess where maybe it gets harder to delineate is we've seen a lot of teams make a Final Four run, but making that push and actually winning 2 games the last weekend of the tournament is really, really hard. So, I mean, I would stop it at 19 or 20. With Ohio State. Ohio State is a team that was number 2 in the country earlier in the season and fell out of the top 25. Looked like they might not even make the NCAA tournament, but now they're back on solid footing. And I look at them as a team that, you know what, if you told me that Ohio State won the national championship, I would not be shocked. And then right there with them is Penn State. And that's probably about where I would draw the line, would be in that 19 to 20 range. But you don't want to talk about the Final Four? I'll go even deeper than that. I'll say there's probably still 30-plus out there who can make the Final Four.
Well, then how many can make the Elite Eight?
60?
I guess
yeah, right. 60,
40.
68.
68. That's a good answer, David.
I want to ask you this. If Memphis beats Wichita State Thursday night, and I get the feeling there'll be a point or 2 favorite in that game. If they do, does that knock out Wichita State? It doesn't get Memphis all the way in. Is this a 1-bid league if that's the case? Or do you just sort of wait and go, okay, if Houston makes the final, it's Houston and whoever else makes the final? Or is it, if Memphis were to get to the final, Houston doesn't make it, say Cincinnati
David,
does.
this league doesn't need ugly upsets.
Does it still have a 3-bid chance?
Yeah, there's still that chance, but if you're Memphis right now, you got to stop worrying about what's best for the league. You got to worry about what's best for you, and what's best for Memphis is if Wichita State loses both of its games this week, because I think that's the only way that Memphis is going to get a bye. I mean, it's a slim chance as things stand now, but they've got to have Wichita State. They're 1 game behind Wichita State for that last bye, I think, and so they would need Wichita State. They would need to beat Wichita State and then most likely have Wichita State lose its last game of the season.
Well, you're talking about the bye. What's interesting to me, and it could be a moot point after 2 games, but if Memphis beats Wichita State Thursday night, now they're tied. Even if SMU wins their game, they're tied, 3-way tie for the 4th spot. And Memphis has to play Houston, unfortunately. I think SMU is on the road, but it's an easy team. And Wichita State may play at home against Tulsa. I think that's right. So it's really up for grabs.
David, you need.
I don't know what the 3-game tiebreaker would be between SMU, Memphis, and Wichita State.
I don't know. If you remember, you need Wichita State to lose to Tulsa. And what in the world happened with the schedule here? Am I reading this right? So Memphis plays 8 p.m. Central against Wichita State on Thursday, and then plays Houston at 11 on Saturday?
That is correct.
Sunday, David.
Sunday game.
Oh, it's Sunday. Okay, okay, all right. I was about to say that's ridiculously unfair if it's Saturday. I'm glad it's Sunday because, that would just be, if they were to go out and beat Wichita State, even that is still a quick turnaround, but not nearly as bad as I thought it was.
David, you need to call your boss right now since you're on mid-major watch this week, and you need to tell them how close you are and your readership and interest level is high, and get to St. Louis to Arch Madness. It's a blast.
Yeah, I would love to get up there. That's an interesting dynamic too. They've got a team in Northern Iowa that might be an at-large team.
Yep.
But if you're a bubble team, if Memphis, if Memphis ends up kind of on the bubble, you want Northern Iowa to win that tournament because if Northern Iowa makes it to the championship game and loses, that might be a two-bid league. That one's going to be interesting. UNI is the best team in the league, but they've lost a few games, and so that could be one. And I've always heard that that's an awesome
so fun.
Tournament.
All the fans roll in there. They treat it like the Final Four. It's a big version of Hoosiers. Every team's having pep rallies and events at their hotel before they head to the arena, to Enterprise Center, former Savage Scott Trade. It's a lot of fun. I did it in 2010. I was glad to do it.
I think if Northern Iowa got to the championship game, played Loyola, and Loyola won, I think both those teams
deservingly
would get in because then Loyola would have. They're already 21-10, so they would. Oh yeah, and Northern Iowa's won 25 games, so I think that would be it.
And
here's the
win
spoiler
games
alert:
week.
Southern Illinois picked last in that conference, was making an unbelievable run, but has lost 3 in a row. Cost them. But they could be a Cinderella story
Looky dogs are
in
out.
St. Louis.
David, it's going to be fun this week and with the rest of the month. It is here.
Yeah, it is. My first order of business for March came as Saturday turned to Sunday. It was about 12:30 a.m. and I had filed my column, and I got a ping from my boss that said, "Hey, before you go to sleep, can you post the Mountain West tournament bracket online? Sorry, it's March."
Of course,
I was like, all right, let's do it. It is. It's March. Let's go.
There we go.
Thank you, David.
Hey, thanks, guys.
You guys have a great week and enjoy. We'll read you and we'll talk to you again next Monday.
Thank you, David.
That is David Cobb now with CBS Sports covering college basketball. This hour is presented by the good folks at Genesis of Olive Branch, makers of the G90, the G80, the G70, a new SUV. I'm not even sure what they're calling that SUV. I know you can order it now. It's not even on premise yet. This is called the latest and the greatest by the people that make the best luxury cars going. So many different things. I should just read the whole list of the luxury items that you get in this car. But let me just say this. You get the greatest safe technology that there is. Computers that make sure that your car is aware of its surroundings. And in some cases won't let you make bad moves. Then there's the comfort, like seat warmers or seat coolers or a steering wheel warmer, you name it. If you want to listen to music in one part of the car, you want it a little different in another, they can do that same thing with climate control. It's amazing and just beautiful. And the way it handles, the way it takes off, you can't beat the speed or the comfort and design. All you've got to do is check it out. Get on Lamar into Mississippi. You turn left on Craft Road and know these cars are so good, they get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. And you'd be buying it at the place, well, this is how car business should be done. Go see for yourself. Check it out at Genesis of Olive Branch. More college basketball talk. We go to our bracketologist, the official bracketologist for USA Today. His name is Shelby Mast, and he is next on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat every afternoon for Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
Hey, sports fans, you already know about the great steaks at the Butcher Shop Steakhouse, a Memphis tradition since 1981. They specialize in hand-cut aged beef right over that hickory charcoal. But did you know the Butcher Shop also has great seafood items, from fresh Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, pan-seared red snapper with sautéed shrimp and Cajun cream sauce, Canadian cold water lobster tails, crab stuffed shrimp, homemade lump crab cakes, and a whole lot more. Oh, and don't forget the Fresh Burger Fridays for only $8.95. Come in, enjoy a fantastic dinner at the Butcher Shop. If you need a great private party, the Butcher Shop is your place. 6 different private rooms, seating from 12 to 250, all equipped with audio-visual. Rehearsals, business dinners, lunch, and weddings. You call the Butcher Shop at 901-757-4244. Or you can visit the website at butchershop.com. Just drop in, 107 South Germantown Parkway.
This is what Flo from Progressive sounds like in one of our many hilarious commercials.
Hi, did you know that you can get a quote on your motorcycle insurance in under 3 minutes at Progressive.com? And did you know that saying hi makes even bad news sound good? Hi, you have high cholesterol. Hi, you're fine.
And this is what that same commercial sounds like on your motorcycle.
Hi, there's no more pain.
Yeah, even our commercials sound better on a bike. And with basic policy starting at $75 a year, Progressive helps keep you on yours. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Cruising through our Monday. What an interesting developing story. New York Knicks have a new president, Leon Rose, the long-time agent.
Big time agent.
And he put out an interesting statement. I guess it was on Twitter where I read it. It was like 3 different sections, and the last part was, I've been in part of this business, seen it all. I know how we can get this thing together, but I'm going to need your patience. Well, Knicks fans are really patient, aren't they?
They've had that. I mean, it's been 21 years since they were last in the finals when they were the unlikely 8th seed coming out of the East in 99 in the lockout abbreviated season. And it's been since 1973 since they won it all.
And that was with a Saluki.
The Saluki. a man named Clyde.
Josie Merriweather and Mike Glenn, they might think differently of what you say, but
I'd stop at Walt Frazier and be safe.
I think you're probably right. I do think you're probably right. In the meantime, back to college basketball. Our friend Shelby Mast, the bracketologist for
That's
USA
where we stop.
Today, he joins us now. All right, so we've got a unanimous number one in both polls in Kansas. So they got to be your number one, right?
They are, and I don't see them falling either. If they even lose out, it'd be tough to get them off the one line.
And they'll have a cozy pod, and they will then go to Indianapolis after that. They'll start in St. Louis probably.
I've got them starting in Omaha. They're about equidistant, and so that's the one I picked.
Yeah, and I think on the pod front, a lot of times Kansas and North Carolina, Duke, they get Kentucky, they get the criticism of starting in a easy place, convenient place for their fans. But when we went to the pod, what do you think they were going to do? Send them to Albany? I mean, they're not.
Yeah.
Well, the pods were to sell tickets.
Exactly.
I guess you really can't blame them.
And Shelby, we got a tough deal here. One time here, I don't remember exactly the teams, but like the closest team to Memphis was 400 miles.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I mean, especially once you get past the one line, because you're running out of pods to place these teams in, and whoever is team number 16, they don't get favorable at all, unless it just happens to work out. You got a lot of times where an East Coast school is going west.
What's the team right now, Shelby, that no matter where you put them, you don't feel good about it, you get blowback from it, you just can't find the right spot for what team?
Kentucky. I got lambasted yesterday. They
loved you a week ago.
I know, because I put them on the 3 line, and now they're still on the 3 line, and they don't like that anymore. They want to be ahead of Duke, and Duke did lose a couple games and have fallen, but I just, that Evansville game is going to stick with them until the end, and there's other metrics involved, other things you look at, but, the name calling and the personal attacks is a little bit disappointing.
Well, if I were the 2 seed in that region, I would not be happy if you've got Kentucky as the 3 seed there. Who's the 2 in that region? Creighton.
Mismatch.
Wow.
They'll crush Creighton.
I wouldn't go that far. Creighton is a better team than you think.
Yeah, Creighton's really good, but second round, what about Virginia?
Who if they got Kentucky?
If it works out that way,
you know what? I hope this is the best. You know why, Shelby?
I know why.
Because John Calipari's just going to be going, they do it to me.
I got to play
year.
the national champ.
I got to play 4 games that are Final Four games.
I got to play the defending champ.
Yeah, and they're playing really good right now. That's a team that could beat Kentucky.
UCLA, are they in?
They are for the time being. They have done some really, really good things in February that they hadn't completely erased their early season failures, but it's made them a little more viable as a team, considering that most everybody had them completely dead in December.
Shelby, they've done, they're kind of the opposite, I'm sorry, of 3 local teams, and I'm going to call them out. They're the opposite of Memphis, Arkansas, and Mississippi State. They've gone out and won.
Yep.
That's what you have to do in February.
Just win. And they're 11-2 over their last 13. They swept Arizona, swept Colorado, and got a win over Arizona State. That's not too shabby.
Now, Colorado's really leaking oil, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are a little bit. I think they're still positioned to be in a somewhat decent seed range. But, yeah, they've lost a couple, and they need to turn it around.
So from your vantage point as a bracketologist, since January turned to February, now we're in March, obviously, which team has done the most improving?
Well, the UCLA, I think Texas could be on that list. They've really done some things these past few weeks. Kentucky, I mean, as much as the fans dislike me right now, they are a good team. There's no doubt about it. And they have, since they weren't in the top 4 when the committee had their reveal, and now they're on the 3 line, that's a nice little jump because those seeds don't move around nearly as much as the middle and the bottom.
And a wobbly team that's still maintaining a decent seed, but look out for them.
Texas Tech, I mean, they're hanging in there. They're, everybody was saying, they're going to be a tough out in the tournament. They might be, but they got to get there first. I don't think they're firmly in. They've got games this week against Baylor and Kansas, And then if they lose first round, that puts the conference tournament, that puts them at 18-14 with a win over Louisville and West Virginia, and not a whole lot else.
That's Chris Beard love.
That Texas Tech Baylor game will let you know that's tonight. Your team, Kansas, is not on the Monday night package tonight. It's Texas Tech and Baylor, and that'll be a game worth watching.
It's a law, Shelby, that Kansas must play at home every Monday night, year-round, all 52 Mondays.
That's like it's a law. If I'm barbecuing in Texas, I have to be drinking beer.
Exactly, Shelby. That's exactly right. Right now, first four out, you have Richmond, Cincinnati, Rhode Island, Mississippi State, and then you go in order. I bet this really makes you popular. The next teams in order: Utah State, Arkansas, Purdue, Memphis, Georgetown, Tennessee.
Yeah, I try to keep it. Once it's down to a handful of teams, basically, then I can put them in order. Because before that, when I've got 20 teams in there, I'm not going to spend the time. These are who's there. Maybe they move up or not, but these are the ones.
Arkansas over Memphis. That win at Assembly Hall for Arkansas over Indiana, it has held them up all year. Outside of that, they're not much.
No, they're not. But they have a decent enough overall profile, a strength of schedule, that I think they're going to get a pretty good look, especially since Isaiah Joe's back. That really helps them, and so they're a different team with him, and they'll be judged more harshly on those games with him, and as opposed to the ones without him.
Shelby, let me go back to Memphis and their situation. They have Wichita State Thursday night. If they were to win that game, the most likely odds are they will lose Sunday at Houston. What must they do in order to make the field? Would getting to the championship game be enough, or do they have to win the tournament if they were to lose to Houston?
I think if they get to the championship game, they're going to get a good look because other teams will have fallen off. They have to hope they do. But law of averages, there's going to be teams above them that lose because once you get into the tournaments, you lose and you're done. You don't have another chance of 2 days later to get another win. So if they can get to the finals, they'll get a good look, I think. It's going to be tough. They've been, above mediocrity for the last half of the season, and I just don't think they're going to get there.
If they beat Houston at Houston with a win against Wichita State at home, which I do believe they will do, then what's the scenario?
Then it's different. Then they're right there on the cut line, if not in. I can't say for sure that I would put them in, but it'd be tough to leave them out. That's a really, really good win. Even though Houston is only in my bracket as a 9 seed, their metrics, their net rating and everything is high enough. That would be a quad 1A road win. Those are tough.
How many AAC teams have you got? If Houston is the best at 9, you got Wichita State and Cincy. How many have you got?
Cincinnati's one of my first 4 out. They're the second one, so they're hanging in there. And then Memphis, and I think that's about it. And it won't surprise me if somebody like UConn wins the tournament.
Wouldn't me either. That's my AAC shocker team would be UConn because of those guards. But right now you have in the A10 as a one-bid league, and that one team could go a long way in Dayton.
That is my pick to win it all right now. I want to see how they do in their conference tournament. It probably wouldn't hurt them in the seedings if they lost a game and as a team because they've won so many in a row that they forgot what it's like to lose and they forgot what it's like to be in a really, really close, tight game. I think they are built to overcome that, but they're they're really, really close to the 1 line for me right now.
So you've got San Diego State, Kansas, Baylor, and Gonzaga. You've got Creighton as the 2. We already mentioned that. Maryland, I think, is the best Big Ten team. You've got them as a 2, Seton Hall and Dayton. So those are your top 4. Which is the Big Ten? How many teams have they got in?
They've got 10 in, and I'm pretty comfortable that that's where they're going to end up unless Rutgers falls out. If they need a win tomorrow night, they've got 1 win away from home, and that's really going to be a glaring negative on their resume. The committee since 1994 has not given an at-large bid to a team with fewer than 3 wins away from home. If they get a couple in the conference tournament, that helps. But if they win at home tomorrow night against Maryland, it's going to be tough to keep them out.
You've got a team like Tulsa, and I know you say they're on life support, I think is the terminology that you like there.
Yeah.
What is it about Tulsa that they seem to be getting absolutely zero respect? This is a team, I know they have 9 losses, 20 wins, 12-4. They've got, I think, a couple of quad 1 wins. What's missing from Tulsa?
A coach.
Matt, they're not. Their resume is okay as it is. They've got a home loss to Arkansas State, neutral to Colorado State. They've got their quad 1 and 2. They're 5-7, so that's not horrible. But their non-conference strength of schedule sitting there at 338 out of 353. That does them no favors.
Shelby, you mentioned Rutgers. The Tiger fans should be pulling against all these teams that are last 4 in, first 4 out, shouldn't they?
Absolutely, and that's the column I've been doing for the Memphian. I turned it in today. It should be posted either today or tomorrow. I give a list of teams to root for and against.
Okay.
They need to focus on the Mountain West Conference and the Southern Conference, I believe, East Tennessee State. You want East Tennessee State to win, and you want San Diego State to win, because if they don't, there's no set second team to come from those. And I think those, San Diego State's going to get in. East Tennessee State's got a really good shot at it at large. So if they lose in the conference tournament, that's a bid thief, and that limits their odds of getting in.
You've got NC State as a team that is part of your last 4 in. If you're a Memphis fan, Memphis beat NC State. Are you rooting for them to keep that
tonight against Duke?
Obviously tonight against Duke for sure. But that is a team you want to pull for because it ups their stock, correct?
It does, yeah. If they beat Duke, that's going to move them up, and that win against them for Memphis looks better. But it also probably takes a spot away, because they might be off the bubble if they win tonight.
Shelby, I want to up front make sure everybody understands where I'm coming from this. I don't want to be insensitive about anything and anybody, especially somebody's religious proclivities and beliefs. But should the bracket and should the tournament committee be that accommodating to BYU and they're not wanting to play on Sunday?
They've got the rule there, so I follow it. I think it's a little far-fetched. There's some other school somewhere that has that same kind of rule, and they have accommodated them in the past. But BYU, being as good as they are actually, for me, a true 6 seed. But I had to move them to the 7 line just for their accommodations. I would think the committee should be able to put them where they deserve to be put. And if BYU doesn't want to do that, then we're sorry, here's the NIT. They'll accommodate you better.
And they sure can't complain if you have to drop them to accommodate them. They can't have it both ways.
Exactly. I mean, the pods and the regions are set ahead of time. Well, the pods you don't know what region, but all those places are set ahead of time, and the dates are set ahead of time, and they do what they can to help. And I can remember back in 2012, they were in the first or the play-in games, first 4, and they had to drop that play-in game to a 13 seed to accommodate, and that just looked really weird having a play-in game on the 13 line.
I would imagine, though, as a 7 seed, you would get the accommodation to play on the Friday, Sunday.
No, they want to go Thursday, Saturday.
I mean the Thursday, Saturday. That's right.
Yeah, it's got to be the Thursday, Saturday, and that's been one of my fears is that I end up having this thing set up where there is not a pod that's Thursday, Saturday that coincides with a region that's Thursday, Saturday. Then what do you do?
I don't know.
Well, you've got them right now in the West on as a 7. So where do you have them playing?
I've got them playing in St. Louis, and then the West is a Thursday, Saturday region.
Well, that would work.
Yeah, and
that would work. And that's why for me, they have earned the 6th seed right now. But I had to move Arizona up, which I don't like. I think they're better as a 7. Because I got Tampa, Greensboro, Albany, and Cleveland. Albany's a Thursday, Saturday, but it's in a Friday, Sunday region.
So when you make that move, you're just predicting sort of what you think the committee will do. This is necessary. You have the job of not just what you think, but what you think the committee is going to do.
That's pretty much all I do is
the
what
latter.
I think the committee would do. Yeah. I don't do anything what I think should happen, because then, yes, Kentucky would be ahead of Duke, and a lot of fans would like me again. I don't think the committee would do that as of right now. But, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I think they are going to do, and that's it.
And you really don't hate everybody's team, do you?
Nah, let's go with yes, I do.
Hey, you know what's
guessing.
You know what's interesting though? You just said you wouldn't do. You would have Kentucky over Duke, but you don't think the committee will. Are you saying that you think there is bias by this committee to Mike Krzyzewski?
No, I think Kentucky is a better basketball team right now. I think they would beat Duke head-to-head, but they're enough apart to where that doesn't factor in. And I'm trying to pick things out. Things are so close on some of these teams. I'm going to your how many road wins or how many wins away from home. What's your average net win and net loss? And I'm sorry, but that Evansville game, it's going to stick around. And Calipari went off on that yesterday or Saturday. Sorry, it's there.
Sorry,
it happened.
Big win early counts. Big loss early counts.
Absolutely.
John is only going to make the case that helps him. You know that.
He wants to be a 1 seed in Lexington.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's the only thing.
Then.
That would be the only time he would ever say, "You guys got that right."
Yep, I think so.
Thank you, Shelby. We appreciate it. We'll know a little bit more next week.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Shelby Mast. He is the bracketologist for USA Today, and he does do that piece, which you'll be able to read on the Memphian here any moment. This portion of the show brought to you by the Butcher Shop, a tradition since 1981. We all know about the great steaks. They specialize in that hand-cut, aged beef grilled over hickory charcoal. But did you know the Butcher Shop also has great seafood items, from fresh Atlantic salmon with dill sauce to pan-seared red snapper and sautéed shrimp and Cajun cream sauce. Wow. Oh, by the way, Canadian cold water lobster tails, crab stuffed shrimp, homemade lump crab cakes, and a whole lot more. There's a lot to the Butcher Shop. And, of course, Fresh Burger Friday. I call it Heavenly Friday. Every Friday afternoon for $8.95, the best hamburger in this area. Come and enjoy a fantastic dinner at the Butcher Shop. If you need a spot for a private party, the Butcher Shop's all yours. 6 different private rooms, seating from 12 to 250, all equipped with audio-visual. We're talking rehearsals, business dinners, luncheons, weddings. Call the Butcher Shop, 901-757-4244, or visit the website, butchershop.com. Back in a minute. We will put a wrap on hour number 2 of this Monday edition of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire-roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Hi, it's me, your nose. I'm so congested. Use the Vicks Sidex nasal spray, would you? Mouth breather. Yeah, the Vicks Sidex nasal spray starts working in seconds and lasts for up to 12 hours.
I can breathe again. Vicks Sinex nasal spray is incredible. I feel like a whole new nose. Oh, let's buy a new car so we can smell it. Oh, we're really breathing now.
For nasal congestion relief, get Vicks Sinex and breathe freely fast. Use as directed.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Time for our Ghoul Style segment. All the great locations in our area, from Main Street to way out east. Ghouls is never far away. Quite literally one very close to you, wherever you are. The Ghouls Academy in Park Place, Olive Branch, Overton Square, part of the Renaissance. The total revamping of Overton Square started with Ghouls being one of the mainstays there. Massage, body treatments, facials, or just a haircut at any of the Ghouls. Superior spa services and salon services, and a great reputation. One built over 88 years of exemplary service. Mr. Sam Gould opened a barbershop in 1932, and a powerhouse was born. And it continues today as a family operation, and all the great Ghouls employees there to serve your every need. Over 450 Ghouls employees at all the locations. The Ghouls gift card is the gift you cannot go wrong with. If you got it right at Valentine's, keep it going that way with another updated Ghouls gift card for anniversaries, birthdays, weddings, holidays. Make someone feel so very special with the perfect gift, that Ghouls gift card. Follow them on Twitter at Ghouls Salons or their website, ghoulsalons.com. I start with Ja Morant from Saturday night. Dave, it was big star on the stage, and he knew it. And he thrives on it. And when we get more pieces around him, we're going to have one of the preeminent NBA superstars every night to go see. I've always wondered, what would it be like that you knew 41 times a year you could go see one of those stars? We're going to have one in Ja.
Well, and those complimentary pieces, I think are really good. I think Brandon Clark is going to be a really good player.
It is shown in his absence.
And I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is maybe not going to be the player that we all talked about him being last year, because let's face it, we're all the opportunities, all the scoring chances, all the attention is going to be on Ja. But I think he'll be a really good complimentary player. I will tell you, the acquisition in that trade with Marc Gasol for Jonas Valanciunas turned out to be a win-win-win. The Raptors got their championship, and Mark was really important in that run. But let's face it, Valanciunas, 45 rebounds in the last 2 games. He's become a double-double machine, and you got him at a good price, and he's going to be around for the ride. The pieces are there, and
they are.
You're not going to get anything this year, but you're going to get mature, and you're going to wait for Justin Winslow to be a big part of it too. We forgot that. And then the next year after that, you could get a nice piece of the puzzle through the draft. This team should be pretty good for a long time. I'm going to go back to something I said earlier for my Gould style, and that was the style that we saw last night at the Memphis Banquet. As I mentioned earlier, if you guys were not around, last night, as told to me by Harold Bird, who has been in charge of the rebounders and this season-ending banquet since at least the beginning of John Calipari, and maybe even before that. And he said last night at the Student Center was the most attended Memphis basketball banquet ever. And they raised a bunch of money that will be used for the program, but it showed me how many people really love and care about Memphis basketball and how important it is in the city, from the politicians that were there to just folks who've been around really, literally. Like, I call them the matriarchs, but you take people like Janet January and Mrs. Springer and the Browns and Val Brown. There are people who this is what they like to give to and care about, and it is their passion. And there's a bunch of people like that. It was a great night last night.
What were crowds like for the 2 years of Tubby?
Not good. In fact, if I recall correctly, the last year of Tubby, there was no postseason banquet.
That says a lot.
If I'm wrong about that, text me on the First Bank text line. It's 67129. But I think that is the case. Speaking of which, you folks, we're going to have a guest here on Thursday that you'll be interested in, but I am looking forward to, and it's here, it's March, but it is opening up a little bit later, the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum. It opens up March the 7th. And this is all about Tiger Hoops for over 100-plus years. You'll see the Tiger men's team, but the women's basketball team, too, from their beginnings as the West Tennessee State Normal School all the way to now. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be cool. It's called the Tiger Hoops exhibit. It will open up March 7th at the Pink Palace Museum. Thursday at 3:30, we will have a guest. I'm looking forward to that.
We will at 3:30 Thursday before you head off to FedEx Forum for the Wichita State game. Tip that night at 8 o'clock.
Late night. Not as late as some of those conference tournament games, though. I can tell you that. I hope Memphis can avoid that 9:30 one. That's for sure. That's 2 hours in the books. When we come back, we'll be joined by Mike Detillier from WWL. We'll talk a whole bunch of stuff, including, LSU still very much in the mix.
Pels, Grizzlies, Zion.
And is that like the new Magic and Bird versus?
What a fun rivalry it could be, Memphis and New Orleans.
Yeah, I think it's here. We'll see if he has that sense. He always tells it like it is. He's next on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
I'm here with Robert Cox, kitchen manager of the Rendezvous Restaurant. Tell us about those great ribs at the Rendezvous.
Rendezvous stands alone in a unique barbecue style, only found in Memphis, Tennessee. We don't smoke our ribs, we char-broil them. The guys cooking our ribs have been doing it for 30 years. Mr. Charlie Virgos taught the guys the technique himself, and still to this day, they teach newcomers that come in the door. After our ribs come out the pit, we pre-cut every order, so you easily can tear them apart. We based our ribs on a plate and sprinkle our seasoning all over them.
So Robert, are ribs what everyone comes to the Rendezvous for?
The beef brisket is now our second best seller behind the ribs. We also have lamb riblets, half chicken, pork shoulder, chopped chicken, cheese and sausage plate. Nachos are fantastic. We also carry a Greek salad. The list goes on.
Robert, where can we find out more about all of these great options?
Our restaurant menu is online at hogsfly.com, and recently we just added our catering menu online.
Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous Restaurant, a family-owned restaurant in downtown Memphis in the alley since 1948.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a three-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sportstime on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sportstime is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Final hour, and it's brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales, where they specialize in late model cars with low mileage, very high standards at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. All the cars are test driven, all checked out from bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if they don't have it on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you walk in and you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid back, down home environment. No high-pressure sales. They want you to have the ultimate car experience. They care about your time. Walk in within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in 45 minutes. Can do it on your lunch hour, immediately after work, because they know we're living in a world today that time matters, and they want to keep it simple for you. Visit them online and check out the referrals at DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Boy, this Grizzlies front office, they do not mess around. They don't sit around. They made another move today. They have signed forward Anthony Tolliver to a 10-day contract. That means Jordan Bell, who was in that move that sent Bruno Caboclo to Houston, he's gone. They have waived him. Tolliver is going to wear jersey number 44. That was Solomon Hill's number for much of this year. Tolliver is 34 years old, 6'8", 240. It's decent.
They need size.
What he shot? She shot 37% from three-point range in 12 seasons. He's an old Creighton guy, Anthony Tolliver. In the meantime, let's go down to New Orleans, where I just was over the weekend. We'll be joined by Mike Detillier from WWL. You know, it's really kind of fun here. We've got the two guys, these two markets, Memphis and New Orleans, with the two guys vying for Rookie of the Year, Ja and Zion. And this could be, with the pieces that both these teams have acquired here in the last year or so, this could be one of the more interesting rivalries in all of the NBA, particularly because of proximity. And I don't know about New Orleans folks loving to come to Memphis and Beal and all that, but I know Memphis folks love to come down to New Orleans and hang out in the French Quarter. Mike, do you think we have something brewing here?
Yeah, I do. And I know one thing about Louisiana people. Anywhere they got alcohol and beer and good food, they going. So Memphis is a spot, brother. Believe me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really do think they put those two cornerstone pieces together back in the summer, and now, boy, have you seen it hit? And I know here in New Orleans, and I wouldn't necessarily say New Orleans is a basketball town. It's a football town. Come on, let's be real about it. But you got a show now. And you got to get out of football season to get some of that attention, especially last year when you had an unprecedented run by LSU to win a national championship, the Saints being a really good football team. And now the focus, and Zion was out early in the season with the knee injury. Him coming back, the impact he's had here. I grew up, when the Jazz acquired Pistol, and I saw that. Pistol ain't won squat here. Didn't win anything here. Mm-hmm. He was a great show. People came to see Pete and what he could do, and he still, to me, is the best ball handler shooter I've ever seen in my life. But he didn't have a lot of talent around him. You look at this young Pelicans team, and you think about, they got pieces like Brandon Ingram and Drew Holiday. And even, I think, one of the most improved players I've seen all year is Lonzo Ball, of how well he's played.
He sure has.
Yeah.
And so, they've got some pieces here that are in place, and Griffith just has done a fantastic job in a short period of time. But Zion has been everything advertised as a player. And listen, I think you are who you are. People talking about him losing all kind of weight and everything. No, he's never going to be called one thing in life: skinny. Okay? That's never going to be used with Zion.
It's just his
he's
makeup.
built like he's built.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's kind of Charles Barkley-like. Because I think him and Barkley have a lot of similarities, build-wise, game-wise, everything else. And the one question I had about him, because I thought he would make a quick impact as an inside player, and he's done it, but what I didn't know would be, having watched him in college, his ability to put up a shot, he misses it and goes immediately back up and gets the rebound and puts it in. That offensive rebound. I didn't know if he could do that against grown men. Guess what?
He can.
He can do it against a grown man.
And he did last night. All right, now tell me something, Mike. Around town, is it generating Zion mania? For instance, let me throw a wild one at you. If he wanted the main table at Commander's Palace, does he get it over Joe Burrow?
Man, that's a toughie. I would say probably yes. He would get it over Joe, but
not over Drew Brees, though.
But not over Drew. I was going to say Drew's going to outflank all of them. But I think he would. I mean, and it's just his personality. He's a very likable young man.
Seems like
he brings a lot of energy, a lot of self-confidence. Now, a lot of people don't like to hear that. Oh, 19 years. What has he done in life? All I know is everywhere he's played, he's been good, hasn't he? That ain't bragging if you can do it. A lot of people don't like to hear people brag, but if you're good and you say you're good, you're not saying something that's not true.
Mike, same for Joe Burrow. I mean, the numbers don't lie.
Joe's wired. Let me tell you, Joe's wired crazy as a quarterback. First time we meet him, and I'll tell you the story real quick. Coach O invites us. Got a few guys from the Bayou go down there, and he's introducing him. Bobby Hebert's with me, and I got a couple other guys, and God bless her. Carly McCord was with us, who passed away back in December. And so Coach was going through the kind of resume to Joe, and he said, this Bobby Hebert, he played 15 years in the NFL. Man, he was my roommate at Northwestern. And Joe kind of gives you one of them lookovers, man, from foot to head. And Bobby's got a little bit of weight on him now. So he introduced a couple other guys who are like multimillionaires, but if you picked them out of the crowd, you wouldn't know if they had a dime or if they had $10 million. And he comes to me and said, man, this guy was a really good basketball player, track athlete in high school. And he sort of gives me the look down, from head to foot. And he said, this is Carly McCord. She's in the news department. She does sports, does Pelicans, Saints, all kind of stuff. She's a 2-time runner-up from Miss Louisiana. And Joe was like, man, I'm really a pleasure to meet all of y'all. But can I just say one thing? She's the only one that fits the resume. Now, look, that was real. That was real quick. And he's got that sense of humor to him. It was just, Joe will give you stuff dribs and drabs. The most I ever heard him talk was certainly at the Heisman Trophy ceremonies. He was always after me about, listen, tell me a Coach O story I can use against him. I'm like, listen, Joe, that might not be too good because eventually you're going to leave and I got to stay here, But he's a different wired. He's a hardwired guy as a player. He's really got a defensive personality in an offensive body, to be honest with you. You don't see that a lot in a quarterback, but Joe has that. Terrific guy. And he's one of those eat, sleep, shoot, you know what else guys for football.
But is Zion glad to be there?
Zion's glad to be here. He really is. And he's getting used to the city, and it's, sort of the first time, when you get away, from family and from your environment, and he's enjoying it here. Now, again, you got to be careful here. Food and drink, you can go a little bit overboard. And listen, I'm testimony to it, and you don't even have to be in New Orleans for that. You just got to be in the South Louisiana for that sort of thing. So he's enjoying it, but he's a great personality in that he's not a great talker. He's not going to sell himself as a player, but it's just the way he handles himself for a 19-year-old, how he can handle the press and everybody clamoring for him. He's done that I'll use the word eloquently, really has. You don't see a lot of 19-year-olds that can handle that sort of thing very well, and he has done it in a tremendous manner, and has put some oomph into pro basketball here that I have never seen, to be honest with you.
Well, they when we arrived Saturday, they had a big crowd. That was we went through the traffic as they were all coming in. I'm trying to remember who the Pels played that night. It was the Grizzlies were playing the Lakers on Saturday. Who were they playing Friday night? Whoever it was, they had a good crowd.
Cavs.
Yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's right. And so for Cleveland, that was something else. Do you think he will assimilate himself within the New Orleans community better than Anthony Davis did?
Well, he couldn't be any less. Anthony really didn't hang around here much.
He didn't.
And so I think he'll hang around here more. I think he understands sort of, I don't know if you want to call it responsibilities, but I think part of the element of being here is being part of the community. And he's talked about that he understands that more than anyone, that he wants to be part of it. And it's a community that has certainly gravitated to him. And the one thing I know, I think about Joe Burrow. Here's a guy from Ohio, went to Ohio State, and he comes to Louisiana, and he embraced the culture here. And guess what? Joe will never have to buy food, drink, anything else the rest of his life when he hits Louisiana.
Clothes, nothing.
Nothing. I mean, zip.
His money's no good.
No connection.
Yeah.
No connection here to Louisiana. But he embraced the culture. And had told me this the Friday, because we spoke a little bit the Friday night before the final game, and he said, wait till you see what Burrow got planned. And I'm like, come on. He's like, nah. He said, I'm not going to tell you. But he said, wait till he walks out on the field. And he had the Burrow, but it was the EAUX at the end.
Mm.
I mean, and people here remember that. That was kind of the embrace of, hey, I got your back. I'm always got your back here. And you can't believe the amount of people in the stands, and they went nuts. I mean, absolutely crazy when he went and he turned that uniform around. And you saw the EAUX. That was his embrace for what they had embraced him for. He'll always be he'll be remembered for winning the national championship. But that moment was kind of, hey, I got your back.
Hey, have you talked to him much? Because I know the people in Cincinnati are so excited about getting him. They've already been ordering season tickets and things of that nature. But I've read some stories where even though that's close to home, he's not all that crazy about being a Bengal. He has no choice in the matter, but he's not really like rushing to become a Cincinnati player. What can you tell me about that?
Well, the only thing I know is sometimes agents get involved and they put stuff in your head. Joe is never going to be a guy that's going to go overboard about anything. And people read too much into that with Joe. As just his personality. He's got no control and he's got no leverage. None. Because they got your right. Once they pick you, they got your rights for 5 years.
Right.
So, so he had no leverage in this at all. And I think he just wants to wait it out. The one thing, it was funny, he made the comment about, you guaranteed, so to speak, to be the top pick in the draft. And he kind of gave me a look, and he was like, are you sure of that? And I'm like, no, I mean, I ain't 100% sure that I'll go home tonight. But I'm telling you from this standpoint, he kind of gave a little bit of a smile and says, listen, I'll let whoever has the first pick make that decision. And that is typical Joe Burrow, is that he is never going to count on anything like that happening until it happens. That is Joe Burrow. And I think he likes that, guys. I'll tell you why. That motivates him. He's always got that chip on his shoulder. He was never quite good enough, maybe never quite big enough, didn't have quite the strong arm. We all know the story how he got to Ohio State. It wasn't Urban Meyer. It was Tom Herman who sold Urban that you better offer this kid a scholarship, that he is as ultra-competitive a guy that you will ever see. But he was not Urban Meyer's choice. He was not his guy. It was Herman that sold him, basically, to Urban Meyer. He comes here to LSU. Well, we all knew he was going to take over. And I'll never forget a couple days after the fall drill started and going to one of the practices, and Coach walks up to me and he was like, hey, I got my guy. And he said, he's Bobby Hebert tough. He said, you know what I'm talking about. And he said, man, these guys will go to the wall for him. And when he told me that, I knew what he meant, because Bobby was that type of competitor. And when he said that, that was great. And we all knew he hadn't played in 3 years, okay? So it's not like all of a sudden he's going to pick up and he's going to be a 70% passer like some of these geniuses that I hear on ESPN and Fox. Oh, he didn't have a great junior year. He didn't. He won 10 games. He went into a 7-overtime game against Texas A&M. He didn't lose that game. They had one of the highest percentage of drop passes in college football, and they played behind an average, at best, offensive line as a junior. But you don't hear the guys say that. You know, it's part of the throw that he made this unbelievable jump, and he did make the jump, but there are also some circumstances around there. We had two freshman receivers in Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall that were playing, and freshman receivers make freshman mistakes. And so that was a lot of drops that year. They just didn't kind of cover his flanks on the edge well, and he had the best aerial views of stadiums across America. But when I saw him run the first time, and he didn't slide, and you could hear, I was on the sidelines, and you could hear every coach scream at him, slide, and he took on that defender. You know what? I never saw him slide as a junior. He was like a running back, and he endured himself to those players as a leader, and I'm going to show you just how tough I am. Now, I have told him in the NFL,
slide.
You better slide, Jack.
They'll
take your head off.
In the career. All right, Mike, full circle. Back to the Pels in Zion. Do they catch the Memphis Grizzlies for the 8th spot in the West?
They have the easiest schedule. David Griffin made a comment early in the season, and I hold on to it, of how this young team will be able to gel late. And with some rookies here, how they adjust to a long schedule. How will they play under pressure? Because I don't think anybody thought they would be in this position. Well, to be honest, how many people thought Memphis would be in this spot?
Nobody.
None here.
No one. So now you got mirror images staring at you now, and it's which one becomes the more mentally tough team toward the stretch. But I go back to what David said, because we had him on one Monday night, and he was emphatic about that, and almost as though he's trying to tell you, somewhere along the line, we're going to get hot. And it might be mid-season, but I can't tell you how we're going to finish, how this is all going to gel between the younger guys, the older guys, the young rookies that are on this team who aren't used to playing all these games and the travel that's involved with it. And I think that's the most intriguing part of this, but the schedule gives them an opportunity to certainly get in there, because the schedule had been fairly tough up to this point. Now they get a little bit of a break, but we've seen this team sort of play up and down to the level of competition too, and I think that's typical of a young team. But believe me, Zion is not going to be the reason they don't make it, because he is one of the unique players in this game, and I'm interested in the other people around him. Brandon Ingram has played terrific this year, just has played terrific. Can he keep that up down the stretch? How well this team can kind of joint together, and they got a problem at the center position. They really do. It's something that they have to address in the off season. It's certainly a weak spot for them.
We're talking with Mike Detillier from WWL Last Thing, and this has to do with basketball. I know it's a football town, and it's not the Pels. It's the Green Wave of Tulane. How is Ron Hunter doing? What's the perception? Is there any care, or is it apathy? I mean, Memphis had more fans at Avron Fogelman than Devlin Arena the other day. But is there any interest in Green Wave basketball and Hunter's team?
It's not it's at the lowest level. And, again, he knew that coming in. Ron knew it coming in, that it was going to be a tough sell here. And there's a lot of talent in this area. But it's almost reminiscent to me of the sort of 80s, 90s football-wise, when we had a great exodus of football players, some really good ones, break out of this state and go somewhere else. So he's got to sell them on Tulane basketball. But I think he's the right coach. He's put together a pretty good staff. He has hit the circuit. I've never seen Ned Fowler was the last coach that I saw come here on the Bayou to introduce himself to high school coaches. That's a long time ago.
Yeah. No, wait, the guy from the Posse, still assistant. I can see his face. He had good teams there.
Perry Clark.
Perry Clark. Thank you.
Perry.
You telling me Perry didn't work that?
Perry wanted you to come to him. No, Perry was something else, man. Listen, great personality. He was the guy. He was the Pied Piper, so to speak. But he liked for you to come to him. And if you had a great prospect, he'd be on your campus. But, similar to what I see what Orgeron did, what I saw Dale Brown do in the 70s, you're seeing Ron do at Tulane today. And that is kind of hit all these high schools to at least put his fingerprint there. With Perry, he came in and he had pretty good success. And I think a lot of times when that happens quickly, it's, okay, I don't have to visit you unless you got the player. You come to me. And I never saw him down here, other than he had a clinic one time at Nicholls State, which isn't far from where I live. But other than that, I don't remember him hitting the high school circuit like I've seen Ron do and his assistants. And you hear it from coaches. Oh, they had a Tulane assistant here the other night, and so for them to tell you that tells you they haven't been going to many games.
Mike, to tell
you. But it is a rebuilding process.
No doubt.
And, man, are they playing, it ain't second fiddle. It would be like ninth fiddle here in New Orleans, just because so many other elements are involved here.
No doubt.
And LSU basketball, with Will, no matter what you want to think one way or another with him, has got back on the map. Because it had, the ups and downs of LSU basketball. Last year was an unbelievable ride until everything kind of came apart late with the allegations, and they got off to such a great start, and it was like, good gracious. And then all of a sudden, man, did they hit the wall. And losing that game to Vandy was the first start of it.
No doubt.
I don't know how you lost to Vandy.
I don't either.
Because I saw him Saturday.
I don't either.
Ooh,
I don't either.
Mike Detillier.
Thank you, Mike.
WWL. We always enjoy visiting with you. Thank you much.
Thanks a lot, guys.
You got it.
And that is Mike, always ready with a good story. He's fun to listen to.
So Joe Burrow walks in Commanders before Zion. No, he said Zion. He said Zion would have preference.
No, he said that was a toss-up. He said Drew Brees.
Yeah, Drew Brees
trumps everybody, is what he said.
They all can afford it.
I could tell you where you don't have to wait if you go in. You just walk in, and you can be anybody. That's the Germantown Commissary and the Collierville Commissary. Because you got two places now, plenty of spots.
You go right
and
now.
Great food. And they don't have barbecue down in New Orleans like we do here, and this place is something special. You know, nobody does deviled eggs except for the folks at the Germantown Commissary, but they do ribs, and they do pulled shoulder, and they do tamales. They do it all, and they do it so well. And with this new place, you can drive through. If you want to go to a party, bring something home, it's real easy. You go right through without any problem. This is at Houston, Levy and Poplar Road, and this is triple the size of the old one. Of course, you could still go to the one in Germantown. Always a terrific experience, I promise, and easy to get into now. Make it easy on yourself. Maybe check out some great Q tonight by going to the Germantown or the Collierville Commissary. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new Lobster Enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. We were talking to Mike Detillier down in New Orleans, and he's talking, hey, we'll come anywhere. There's good food and there's good beverage. And it is Monday. Many of you might have imbibed some good beverages, he said, over the weekend. So you need to stock up, and you know where to do that. Spirit Shop, my favorite place to go. Spirit Shop's right there, centrally located. That is basically Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar, that little log cabin right down from Clark Tower that is chock full of the premium brands or the bargain brands. You want the latest tequila or bourbon or vodka or gin or wine, they've got it. They've got the best of brands. They've got those that are up-and-comers. They've even got bargains if you're looking for those. They've got beer. They've got accessories. They've got even things like cocktail in a can. They've got the rub that you would put around the rim of a glass. They've got that. I'm telling you, they got stuff for dips. They've got anything that makes your party special. It's always a little unique. And the service, well, that's the best. That's Eddie Connor and his family. They've been doing it there since 1969. Time to stock up on your spirits. There's only one place that really goes the 100th mile for you. That is the Spirit Shop. Again, 4848 Poplar and St. Nick.
I have not looked at NIT bracketology since late last week. Have y'all?
I did not.
Drew?
I actually thought about that. Because if you beat Wichita State, I think
might look now,
you're sort of back in the conversation.
I'm looking now. When was this updated? Because there's so many NIT bracketologists.
Yeah, there are.
And I don't know who to rely on. There was one I liked in the past, and I can't find him. That's how uninterested I'm in it. All right, Tigers 2 seed the second of 2 seeds, the last one I see posted. So that means they would play the second of the 7s. That would be Colorado State.
I've got one that was updated this morning on midmajormadness.com, and he has the Tigers as a 4 seed facing Furman.
The old Paladins, huh?
Wow.
So a 4 seed, that means you go on the road second round,
I'm on
like
that
last
one.
year.
Mississippi State's a 1 seed in that. So if Memphis were to win that game and they would get Furman at home because they're the 4 seed, they would have to travel to Starkville. And on the other side of that bracket is Georgetown and UConn and Rhode Island, and Georgia is the 7 seed.
Locally, 0 pressure on Coach Hardaway, 0 on Eric Musselman, 0 on Rick Barnes. How much on Ben Howland? Crowd, as Matt White told us, crowds have been thin.
Crowds usually matter. And if no one's coming, that would seem to me to matter. I don't know. I truly don't have a sense of what that market is doing. Of what the
even if they
AD
hosted
thinks.
an NIT game, would anybody care? They haven't for conference
No,
games.
I don't think they would come for the NIT. I really don't.
Will people go here with the enthusiasm of last year?
So there's a barking crow, by the way, that
There's
has
one
Memphis-
everywhere.
has
There's a barking crow everywhere you look.
Memphis is a 3 seed, and again, Mississippi State is the top seed in that region. They would take on Prairie View A&M in the first game. Furman and Clemson are the 4-5. Memphis would play Belmont in the first game, being a host, and then they would take on the winner of North Texas and Texas. So Memphis would go to Austin for that one.
See the end of the drum. It's closing in a few years. It's going to be torn down with the new palace
Wow,
going
it's
up.
funny. I did games there when it was pretty new. 1985.
Brand new and welcomed compared. So what I tell everybody that cracks on the Tad Pad and cracks on Beard Eves at Auburn and on Humphrey Coliseum now and on the drum, they ought to see what those places replaced.
Oh, those were all barns. Those were the old barns.
gyms.
Yeah.
I mean, just the field house.
Oh. Well, there were just like Barnhill was.
Exactly.
When I was doing those games at A&M, that was I can't even remember the name. It was like an armory.
What Pete Maravich Assembly Center at LSU replaced, it was the agriculture building.
Right.
Like where they did rodeos and stuff?
Where
Like
they did
agricultural
cattle shows.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
So
or you had those little tiny arenas like El Marone Fieldhouse. That's where college basketball really grew up.
Exactly.
That's really when we were talking about this before, when Loyola in 1963 went and won the national title. They were playing in a gym that was like El Marone Fieldhouse.
It's hard to believe, but when Tad Smith Coliseum opened in the late 60s, it was open to the fanfare and the wow factor.
This is the latest, greatest.
That the pavilion opened to in a few years ago.
Yeah.
It was that welcomed.
Will the pavilion last as long as the Tad Pad did?
I think the Tad Pad could take a direct nuclear hit and survive it. It will.
I don't know how long these new buildings last. You know, I thought the Pyramid would last a while. It didn't last very long.
I thought the Georgia Dome would stand forever.
Oh, I thought the Georgia Dome would be around a long time. And
First time I walked in it, Dave, I thought I was at the Taj Mahal.
What do they call the St. Louis Dome now, where the XFL team is playing?
It's been a couple corporate names, but
Yeah,
it was very basic in its newness too.
That was the problem with the Pyramid,
and they were kind of thrown up.
If the Grizzlies had never came to town, we would have played in the Pyramid a lot longer, right?
Would have had to have made it work.
Yeah, I mean, might still be playing there today.
Well, first of all, it was a somewhat Spartan arena in that you didn't have as many boxes.
Dave, that's being very kind
FedEx
to say
Forum
somewhat
has.
Spartan.
I love the Pyramid.
Well, I got to tell you something. I think in some ways the Pyramid was superior to FedEx Forum, and
I'm all ears.
in one very basic way. The lower bowl. The lower bowl had the majority of the seats, so more people could get better seats, and the steepness was uniform throughout.
The leg room, Dave. When
The
I don't
leg
have
room-
leg room,
right.
there's no leg room.
Well, the leg room was bad.
It was good
you know,
for me at 6, so I was fine with it.
You never sat there.
I didn't have a problem with it. Yeah, I sat there for a couple of games, high school games or whatever was in there.
I think the biggest thing, the pyramid would have been great if it actually had been completed. It really was never finished.
They didn't do the inclinator like they were going to do.
All the space unoccupied down below that was never developed. It was really
they had some
haphazardly
they had
thrown
some
together.
exhibitions. They had a Wonder Series that they
Sure
used
did.
that space for. So the pyramid was an okay building, but it wasn't a spectacular to NBA specifics arena. And Michael Heisley had, if you wanted him, he's willing to come, but there was a caveat. You had to build a better building than you had. The building was certainly sufficient. You know,
and he was clear on the front end.
To me,
you have to build it, or I'm
not coming. Yeah, and to me, the Bradley Center, which was a very good building where the Milwaukee Bucks played for a lot of years,
Marquette
was
played there.
not any better, if as good, as the Pyramid.
Oh, Dave.
Were you ever at the Bradley Center?
For arena football, I thought it was much better than the Pyramid. I thought Scott Trade in St. Louis was much better. And Bud Walton Arena blew the Pyramid away.
Bud Walton Arena.
Thompson Bowling blew the Pyramid
Bud Walton
away.
Arena had some more leg room. Couldn't seat as many people.
It seated 20,000.
Bud Walton seats 20.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then it was right there. I didn't think it had as many.
Pyramid said close to 20, didn't it?
Close.
About 19 and a half?
Yeah. I don't know. I like the Pyramid better than most people did. I obviously
Dave, the last defender of the Pyramid.
I'm a huge – look at my arm. I have the Ramsey statue tattooed on my arm. That
I didn't know you had all that.
It says Tomb of Doom on it. Come on. I will defend the Pyramid.
That's going to age well.
Yeah. I wouldn't have gone that far. I like the Pyramid, but I would not have I would not have tattooed it.
Tattoos on the other arm with anything?
No, I don't have any on this arm.
Good.
But I'm not upset because I think FedEx Forum is a terrific arena.
Dave's got a Pyramid tattoo on his back. A lot of people don't know about.
If you can find that, I'll give you $1 million.
So the Grizzlies tonight against the Hawks. You know, the Grizzlies have one win in about the last 16, 17 days, 18 days.
I know it, but it was
a big one.
And it's the most recent. And you know what? One win, it's hard to imagine because we talked a little bit about the differences between a college season, which is why Memphis Tigers seem to get more criticism than
game
Grizzlies.
to game.
But when you're playing 82 games, 41 at home, and you still have a lead here, which was unexpected, but you don't feel it like you do, like the SMU loss. Because the SMU loss for me,
that's right. Shouldn't Sacramento been the SMU home loss? Shouldn't that have been treated like that?
It should have kind of.
And
felt
it came
that
on
way.
a Friday night, so us and everybody were not here on Saturday.
Here's
and Sunday.
the difference. Let me explain the difference to you. The SMU loss, the one in Dallas, probably dictated that Memphis is why we're looking at NIT bracketology. That loss probably sent Memphis to the NIT. That was a loss that was probably going to be hard to overcome. You might overcome it with a win at Houston, but how likely is that? Whereas the game the other night, the home loss to Sacramento and De'Aaron Fox, who wasn't even going to play in the game, and then, Lord, he got healthy, and look what he did. But when that game was over, you still had a 2.5-game lead in the playoff spot.
And the Lakers coming to town.
It's not like, oh man, we're going to go to the NIT now.
Well, the Grizzlies really kind of are exempt from it. Then you're saying?
I'm not saying they are. I'm saying at this point they are. This season they are, because everything that you get this season is gravy. No one ever. It's like house money. Who thought Memphis would be in this position?
How bad would it have to fall off the cliff for it to be perceived as ending badly for the Grizzlies? If they won 3 or 4 more games?
That might be. I think if the Grizzlies won 8 more games and just fell short because a combination, because any one of these teams could get them. New Orleans could get them. Portland could get them. Heck, Sacramento is now only 3 back. They could get them. There's a fourth team in that mix.
San Antonio.
San Antonio, the Spurs. Any one of those four teams could beat them. But if they win 8, 9 more games and they just miss 500 and they just miss the playoffs because some team gets them, okay. I don't think anybody's going to be upset because you had the hardest schedule. You've gone through the injuries, and no one thought you'd be here. But if you only win 2 or 3 more games and you don't compete like you didn't in that 5-game stretch where it looked like you were just going through the motions, then you might get some criticism. I don't expect that to happen.
All right, so you got about a 32 to 38 win variance. What if it falls in that middle? What if it's 34 and 48?
Then I got to see how they lost the games. Is there controversy? Were there bum calls like Memphis seems to have gotten?
I think the Grizzlies could lose every game the rest of the way out and still not get criticized. Because ultimately they have done more than what we expected them to do, and you can twist it and turn it, especially if Jaren doesn't come back, if Brandon Clark doesn't come back in a fashionable time, you start to rest Ja. I say you can spin it to where we've already accomplished everything we needed to. Why risk anything else?
22 in a row and no criticism.
I honestly think they could spin it.
And that would be about 29 out of 30.
No, I think people would be a little upset about that. But if they won, I think if they win 7 or 8 games with the injuries that they've had, depending on when Jaren and Brandon Clark come back, or Justin Winslow for that matter, at some point, Justice Winslow said he's playing, right? When's that going to happen?
Yeah, in Saturday, clearly the win of the year and
yes,
the best win in a long time.
I'd say the most important win since the lottery.
Probably so.
That was the biggest win. And then to go back then, you have to go back to the Western Conference Final, don't you?
Yeah, beat Golden State one year in the playoffs. A lot of fun. Or San Antonio.
Beat San Antonio. But Golden State, you were up 2-1 one time. That's it.
So you beat San Antonio as an 8 seed.
Yeah, but even since then, it had a playoff against them. Didn't think you'd ever beat them for the series. But the next best Grizzlies win coming up will be the one that secures the playoffs, isn't it? And especially if they do it at home. Against Atlanta tonight will not be easy. And then play Atlanta at home next Saturday night.
Tonight is an important game because in Atlanta, this is an Atlanta team that's not very good. It's not like New Orleans. It looks like they're on the fast track up. This is an Atlanta team that's got a really exciting young guy in Trae Young. And there's, I can remember, this is why you have to give players chances too. Last year, quarter of the way through the year, maybe a third of the way through the year, everybody was talking about Trae Young being a total bust. Too small to play. Can't defend. Doesn't have the range in the NBA that he had in college.
The verdict was kind of in on him.
He was a bust. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, you give him 50 more games.
Next thing you know, he's an all-star. Yeah. But the early verdict was not favorable.
No, and not saying that Jaren is going to be the opposite totally here, but Jaren was the guy that everybody was raving about early and then got hurt, and he's never been back to the level of expertise or expectation that he was. Don't you think? Is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah, it's fair. I mostly agree.
This portion of the show brought to you by Genesis of Olive Branch, the luxury car that gives you 10 years, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, and every new car in the place, and you have to see these cars to believe them. You have to drive these cars to believe them. The finest luxury cars on the planet right now are Genesis cars. I firmly believe that, and I drive a G90. That's the bigger one. There's the G70. That's sort of a James Bond car. It's a sports car with a back seat. There's a middle-sized car, the G80, and if you want to order it and go in and just see what they look like, they're not on the lot yet, but you can see the brochures and read all the info. This new SUV from Genesis is going to be the newest, the latest, the greatest in technology and in safety and in ride for any sport utility vehicle. I promise. Go see my guys. That's Chris True and all the gang. Just get on Lamar into Mississippi. Craft Road's the first exit. You'll be there. You'll see the way car business should be done at Genesis of Olive Branch. We take our final timeout. We come back. We got Crunch Time and more coming your way on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
Hey, sports fans, you already know about the great steaks at the Butcher Shop Steakhouse, a Memphis tradition since 1981. They specialize in hand-cut aged beef right over that hickory charcoal. But did you know the Butcher Shop also has great seafood items, from fresh Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, pan-seared red snapper with sautéed shrimp and Cajun cream sauce, Canadian cold water lobster tails, crab stuffed shrimp, homemade lump crab cakes, and a whole lot more. Oh, and don't forget the Fresh Burger Fridays for only $8.95. Come in, enjoy a fantastic dinner at the Butcher Shop. If you need a great private party, the Butcher Shop is your place. 6 different private rooms, seating from 12 to 250, all equipped with audio-visual. Rehearsals, business dinners, lunch, and weddings. You call the Butcher Shop at 901-757-4244. Or you can visit the website at butchershop.com. Just drop in, 107 South Germantown Parkway.
Hi, I'm Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Five-Ash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Five-Ash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's a March to remember at James Gaddis Jewelers. 20% off engagement rings. The March Birthstone Aquamarine plus 20% off all blue topaz in stock. Tons of new jewelry have arrived, including a new line of colorful spring-like Miss Shoe jewelry. They can customize any jewelry, make it to your specifications, and if you like, provide a free 3D rendering of what it will look like in just 2 days. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar Avenue, online at gaddisjewelers.com. You can call them at 901-767-9648.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Final portion of the show brought to you by good folks at Supercuts. Hope you look good over the weekend. It was date night. Hope if you went to that basketball banquet last night, you look good, or to any of the games. You want to look good. Supercuts always makes you look good, and you feel good because you look good. and you'll look good. I promise. You can go to any of the 15 locations. Go to supercuts.com, find the one that's nearest to you. Walk through the doors, talk with those hairdressers, and ask them about a particular style or trend or haircut that you're looking for. They'll know. That's their business. Details matters. Of course, every haircut ends with a hot towel finish. That leaves you invigorated and relaxed all at the same time. They know how to make you look good. That's the truth. That's why it's worth going. So, again, go to supercuts.com, find that location nearest to you, and feel good, because you're going to look good when you leave the great folks at Supercuts. Time for crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working? It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Woo! Woo! Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Learned today of Ja Morant's exploits on Saturday, and I think he will be the Rookie of the Year. Zion simply hadn't played in enough games, and Dave Pasch, I thought, really took up the Zion or the Ja flag last night in saying that you got to play in a certain number of games. He said, I don't know what the exact number is, but Patrick Ewing played in 50. He will max out at 37, and Ja's already played in 54 and could max out at around 75.
All I know is if Ja continues to have games like he did against the LA Lakers, he'll win it, because he'll have more games with those kinds of flashy stats that mean something. And if they make the playoffs, clearly. But if he plays like he did the 5 games before that Lakers game, and Zion continues to get 39 and wow everybody, and they make the playoffs, there'll be enough people out there that'll be making a case for Zion.
Do you know
I think right now, though, Ja's in the lead.
Do you know our collective brains exploding if Ja gets this stolen from him from here? We'll be convinced the whole world is anti-Memphis. It is truly Memphis versus everybody.
There you go.
Memphis as.
What did I learn today?
You can't say that word.
Mike was off.
Yeah, I know it was.
I learned today Cubs a winner over the Angels 9-4.
You're not doing that, are you? We even argued during the break over golf picks this year. Dave still thinks he won.
I know, it's so hilarious how much he's holding on to that.
Do you have us hoping you could hear it?
No, I didn't.
Here's what I did learn today. The Clippers are going to buy from Madison Square Garden. Who knew this?
Big game Stevie Ballmer can buy anything.
He's going to buy the old Western Forum.
Yeah.
The fabulous Forum where the Lakers used to play, because he's tired of sharing staples. He's going to buy the Forum, and that's going to be the new home of the Clippers. How about that deal? And at first, the Madison Square Garden wasn't going to let him. Well, the building's still there.
But it's going to be retrofit.
I'm sure they'll do something. Who knows? But the property is actually owned by Madison Square Garden. James Dolan.
Man, Jimmy Dolan's got his...
He's got making money right and left, no matter where. Left coast, right coast, doesn't matter.
I could have done without the Grizzlies' loss on Friday. It was grim. It felt like the season was over. It was fun while it lasted. And then the next night, they win. That was Saturday was the first win in about 19 days, only win in 19 days. A win tonight over Atlanta. I won't say must, but it's really important.
I could have done without all these players whining and moaning and groaning, all because Tony Romo is going to make more money than them.
Whoa.
Tony Romo's deal. Can you believe $17 million a year? What is he doing, 20 games?
tomorrow, I want to really dedicate some time to this. We got to grab a segment, and I want to hear from people. And I'm not asking this being a wise guy. What makes him so good?
Here's what I think makes him so good. He predicts the plays, and he gets them right.
Is he right every time he does it?
Pretty much. Not every time. Now, but what would you say,
80%? I'd say he runs about 75, 80%.
He brings the Madden enthusiasm, kind of the pow, wow, pop.
Here we go.
Kind of the Batman, kaboom. And it's really close, Jim. I think the ball was moving. He's very dramatic. But I would love, and I don't mean I'm trying to find something wrong with him. I would love to hear how he's become such a phenomenon.
We'll do that. We will do that. The thing is, he's at the right place at the right time. CBS took a chance with him, but they didn't commit too much, right? They committed 2 years to him. And they gave him the number one spot, and that was risky, but they weren't risking a lot of money.
You could put a broom in there with Jim Nantz.
I don't think they realized
you could put that trash can in there
good.
by Jim Nantz. You could put anything in there in it.
Jim is really good, but people were down on Phil Simms.
He carried Lanny Watkins for years.
Did he not have Phil Simms with him? And everybody thought, okay, that's pretty good. And they got rid of Phil Simms.
And Phil Simms still part of the studio.
But they thought somebody'd be better.
Jim Nantz carried Lanny Watkins. He can carry anybody. Keeping a close eye tonight on NC State at Duke, Texas Tech at Baylor. Beginning tomorrow, conference tournaments, ASUN, Big South. But the big one tonight, Grizzlies in Atlanta against the 19-43 Hawks. We need to pull against the Spurs tonight, don't we? Pacers at Spurs?
Yes. NC State and Duke tonight. I'm going to watch that. Go NC State. Get the Tigers stock up there. Texas Tech and Baylor. I don't think Texas Tech can slip out. Do you?
I think there's a lot of love for Chris Beard, and they were in the finals last year.
They were. So it probably doesn't matter either way when you're looking at the U of M on that one, unless Texas Tech were to lose out, and I don't think
NC State helps profile, though, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. No question. And the fact that they're back in the picture, that is definitely something to look at. In the meantime, let us thank David Cobb for his work with us today, Shelby Mast and Mike Detillier with all those wonderful stories from down on the Bayou. That'll do it for us, for Drew and for Brett. I'm Wolo. Same time, same place tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone.
Listen up, Rebel fans. You can now listen to Rebel Yell Hotline on 87.7 FM or on the web each and every